let's do this. We'll get started, or how loosely it is.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome
Hi.
to the stream. Welcome to the first day of kind of rebrand of Magic the Gathering content.
For Flutterpriest Gaming.
Yeah, Flutterpriest Gaming.
I'm still not Flutterpriest. I'm a non-pencil.
I'm Flutterpriest. That's me. It's my name.
Yeah, but we decided that I'm the bigger brand risk, so we're going with his name.
Yeah. So, what are we doing? Why Magic?
Well, for one thing, Magic's been something you're interested in and have been interested in for how many years?
Oh my gosh, I started playing in high school, 2007, with Lorwyn, and just being obsessed with elves and seeing people combo off with Dragonstorm was so cool, and I wanted to learn more about the game and got in touch with the Pro Tour and so many other cool things. I love Magic, and I have too much to do with it, and now we've found different ways that we could explore the game in different ways and engage with the community too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a natural extension of a lot of our skills and abilities, and so we're showing off some cool stuff. Tell me, how'd you get into Magic?
I first tried Magic back in college, so a lot of years ago. Not gonna say how many. But back in college, I tried it out. I made a deck. I played a little bit, and I kind of fell out of it because Virginia's not a very good place to do Magic the Gathering. It's
No.
not a friendly place, especially for somebody who looks like a woman
Yeah.
to do Magic the Gathering, which isn't my favorite thing in the world. But I took a break from it, started dating you. You were really into it. I got you some packs here and there. And then you roped me into going to MagicCon Las Vegas.
It's true.
And also I was going to the card shop anyway and getting to know a lot of your Magic friends. And then I discovered that Phyrexia has its own language that I have to now be knee deep in and
Absolutely.
learn how to pronounce because I'm that kind of awful person. I made that strong. My apologies.
No, you're fine. But now, at MagicCon, we got in touch with a lot of really lovely people that loved our cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got Instagram now to show off not only the cosplay from the convention, but the awesome people we met. Tappy Toquaz.
Yes, Tappy was so nice. Pay Money Wubby, who I think is scared of me permanently now.
Absolutely.
I'll just put out there that I'm responsible for the curse of the piss tooth, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh.
Yay!
But we're going to do some fun. And we're going to actually kind of let you guys in on a cool thing that we do, just to kind of have fun with pack openings, because for the last months or so, we've gotten into opening up packs and enjoying that kind of lottery aspect of it. But we do it a little bit different. We kind of turn it into a Dungeons and Dragons role-playing style game.
Which I'll happily explain more of when it's time for that.
Absolutely.
Because it's a very different method of doing it. Yes, we're still doing a blind opening of the packs. Yes, you'll get to see the individual cards as we pull them out. But we're going to make a very short, and I say short, about 2.5 hour D&D campaign out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The goal being that you get to see me DM from the hip, something I'm actually pretty good at. And you get to see him fuck around and have fun and know the value of the cards.
Oh, absolutely. And the kind of cool thing being that I know a lot of the prices and what's actually competitively viable. You don't.
No.
So you can just be totally stone-faced as you drop down, an etched foil Valgavoth or something like that. You just nod at me. Yes, that sure is a card. And as a little piece of added fun, we got in touch while we were at MagicCon Las Vegas with Megan with Infinitokens.
That was in our hotel. She was lovely.
Lovely person. So along the way, we'll draw characters and draw little things along the way to kind of illustrate a little bit of pieces of what we're doing. I'm not an amazing artist. You are. But we will kind of illustrate it along there in our little camera area.
And if you hear him coughing, if you hear me coughing, we've got con crud. Both of us are sick.
Yeah, we got a colds at the MagicCon. We're going to do our best to not let it show.
But we're both hopped up on codeine and painkillers, my friends.
Oh, yeah.
And we have alcohol.
Absolutely.
Which is literally, look at that, it's hiding right behind there.
It really is.
Haha, it's still there.
So,
But first, let's get into one thing it's your side of things. We're opening packs from Duskmourn today, and we're opening 2 different types of packs. First of all, can you talk a little about Duskmourn, and then can you talk a little bit about what we've got in front of us today?
absolutely. So, part of our Dungeons and Dragons kind of role play session is by knowing what kind of theme we're going for. And by doing that, we can get cards that kind of reflect that theme, that kind of styling. And we're going to go with a horror one to kick us off today. This is Duskmourn. The Duskmourn House of Horror set is a very aesthetic, very 80s, early 90s, late 70s, horror, kind of American horror tropes, slasher, poltergeist, exorcist kind of style. And as a result, we're going to have this very kind of Stranger Things almost focused style of game. In front of us, we have 4 collector booster sample packs.
And where do you get those?
We get these from opening the Commander products. So we ordered a pack of the 4 Commander decks. I like having a full set. And we have these today to open and see and compare them with real collector boosters, whether these are an accurate sample of what we would actually see here today.
And we are going to open 1 pack normally, just regularly, like unpack. Then we're going to do another one in what we call a Broken Seal campaign, or Breaking Seal campaign.
Yeah.
And a Breaking Seal campaign, a BS campaign, which we thought was funny. A Breaking Seal campaign is the idea that I don't know what cards are in this. I don't know what this pack is going to tell me I need to do. I have no pre-planning. The setting is determined by this. The enemies are determined by this. Friends, items, all of it is determined by just what I draw in order. All building up to like a final boss or a final big situation, which will be the legendary or the rarest cards.
Absolutely.
There's more to it than that, but to put it very simply, I'm going in very blind. I'm not very familiar with the Duskmourn cards, and so I'm going to have to adapt as I draw. And we'll walk you through exactly what we're doing for that as we start. There are going to be dice involved, absolutely. We have a really cool die we got here.
From Magicon.
From Magicon. This was actually given to us by drag queens, so we love that.
And this is a lovely set of dice that we're using today from MistyMountainGaming.com. Really awesome. I love the kind of super bouncy ball style dice, which is what we'll be using for all my rules.
And we're going to be using dice, really just 2 die at this point.
Right. So what dice do we really care about?
Honestly, we care about the D20. And then your modifier die, which is this bad boy.
A D10.
So we can go up to 10 with that modifier. That's the highest modifier we can do, and it's not going to go by the standard D&D rules, which is it might be a little weird, but the idea is we want to streamline it. We want to do it quick. We want everything to go very fast, and we only want to get the information as it comes. You don't even have a character in mind yet.
No.
Because we don't know. I'm going to give you a couple of hints, and then you're going to draw a character, and that's going to be your character for the game, and I'm going to create backstory, and it's going to be 2 hours to 2.5 hours of just that. But let's start with finding out about Duskmourn. Now, in the Magic the Gathering lore, what is Duskmourn, and where are we in the storyline?
So Duskmourn is its own plane. An easy way to think about a plane is like a realm of existence where you can move between one world to another world. Have you seen the show Supernatural before?
Yes.
So it's kind of like going between alternate timelines, alternate realities, and things like that, moving between the different worlds that are in Supernatural.
Fantastic.
So, in this world, Valgavoth, the great demon, has taken over and been imprisoned by this house, Duskmourn.
And is Valgavoth our big Mothman?
Yes, he's the big Mothman.
Cool.
He's a massive creature. If we draw him in the campaign, I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose.
We will see. Of course, I can rig it for you so that you don't lose. This is your first campaign. I'm not afraid of full party wiping, and I will. But I will do my best to keep you led, because your only goal in the campaign itself is to last through the deck. If you die at the end, you die at the end.
My win condition is if we can get through all of these cards in the booster pack and see if I can survive. Otherwise, if I can't survive, you win.
Yay! And we'll add more stuff to it in future streams. This is going to be something we do regularly.
And please, be something that, if there's something that you like, something that you don't like, something that doesn't make sense, leave us a comment. Yeah. Let us know. We really want to engage with the community on this and make this something pretty fun.
If the sound is all fucked, please let us know. Oh, and we are going to swear.
We're learning. Yes.
We are going to swear. This is not a rated G stream.
This is 18 plus.
This is 18 plus. There may be innuendo. It's me. If you know me from anything else I've done, you probably know I don't have a filter. I have a mouth on me, and what's worse is that I like really gross, creepy things. So Duskmorn is right up my alley. Now then, let's find out the big question here. Is this actually a good representation of what you'll get in here?
Right. So we just got these from our local store.
OP Comics.
OP Comics and Gaming.
Shout out to them in Santa Rosa. Highly recommend.
They also have a whatnot that they do, so please check them out. And this retails for $30.
The single pack.
The single pack.
Okay.
And the idea is that this Collector Booster sample pack is something that you get free with a commander deck. A commander deck is worth MSRP, not true MSRP, asterisk, for $50. You get a 100-card deck and one of these little guys.
Okay.
So, let's start by opening the Collector Booster and see what makes the most sense.
For your face.
Thank you.
So, we're going to open this guy first. Do we know if the rares are on the top or the bottom in this?
We don't know yet.
Okay, let me take a glance. Yeah, I think the rares are on the bottom. I can already...
So, one of the things that isn't great about the Collector Boosters is they're inconsistent about what goes where in the pack.
Well, we're actually starting with a token, it looks like. And tokens... I will use tokens, absolutely. So, are you ready?
So we got a token and a treasure on this side.
Oh, I like the treasure on that. Can we take a look at the art of that? So, creepy ass hand with some very, very pretty coins. Very shiny. I'm a fan of tokens that actually like try. So, love that.
So without leaking it to the public.
Okay, that is your rare.
Okay. So then we will start with this side up. We've got, to start us out, a cautious survivor. Elf survivor.
These are pretty. These are a little rounded. I'm noticing.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of pringling. Resurrected cultist. Twist reality.
I love the art on this with the DNA hanging out in there. That's really cool.
Oh yeah. Scorching dragonfire.
This is especially nice with the shiny. It's because fire just looks good when they do it. They've excellent art in this.
Anthropede. I hate how centipedes
move or how they exist.
How they dare take up space.
Ooh, what a
fear of infinity. Look at that. Is that is that like an Ouroboros kind of?
It looks kind of like an Ouroboros, but it's like leaking ghosts out of its face, which again, love that. And we're already on uncommon if you're looking at this.
Yeah, that's big.
So this little symbol in the corner, I know a lot of you already know what they're doing, but for those who don't, if it's got a little silver guy right there, that means it's uncommon.
All right. Under the Skin.
Oh, that's awful. Love that.
Manifest Dread. Duskmorn's Domination.
Terrifying. Also love that. Ooh, can we see the shine on that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Gorgeous.
Duskmorn really lends itself to shiny because there's so much ethereal wispiness. This is for your face.
We have Oblivious Bookworm. At the beginning of your end step, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless the permanent entered the battlefield face down under your control. So it's for like morphing creatures.
Okay, can we talk for a second about lands? Because
Yes.
I'm very weird in this regard. I love land designs. Mm-hmm. I know they're not the rarest card. No one pays a lot of money for them. No one cares about them. I care about them. I actually really like lands.
In fact, you collect the art cards, no less.
I love the art cards. I like art. It's one of the things I like most about Magic. I know that's not the common answer. The Duskmourn lands are so creepy. They all look very comic book, and I really, really love that. This is not my favorite of their lands, but it is really, really cool.
Look at that. All right, so once we hit the land, that's when we're going to start hitting the rares of the collector booster pack.
Okay, let's see what we're going to get here then.
We start with a foil Swarm Weaver.
Hey, so Swarm Weaver is somebody I'm familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
So when Swarm Weaver enters, create a 2 black-green insect tokens with flying bees. As long as there are 4 or more creature types among cards in your graveyard, insects and spiders you control get 1/1 and have death touch.
Hate that.
Not the bees.
Absolutely hate that.
We have, Kian, Corrupted Memory. Looks like a foil card from...
Is that borderless?
Foil Borderless.
Hey, all
from
right.
the Commander decks.
Okay, we have, and next we have,
Unidentified Hovership.
and it's an interesting border if you look at that.
It is. It looks like an 80s master mega computer panel. Mega computer.
Mega computer.
When it enters, exile up to 1 target creature with toughness 5 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, the owner manifests dread. So we have aliens,
Aliens.
and aliens are white.
All right, careful not to take that because there's 2 cards there. So let's see. Ooh.
Screaming Nemesis. We got a mythic, our second mythic of the pack.
Wonderful. Was that the previous one was a mythic too?
No, the Kian was a mythic.
Ah, yes, I see. Because it's special.
2 mythics in this pack.
So what does this mythic do?
It is a 3/3 spirit with haste. When it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game.
That's kind of vicious. What's the casting on that?
It costs 2 colorless and a red.
That's pretty broken.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And last but not least, big rare of the pack. It's a shiny alternate art land. We got this foil Thorn Spine Verge.
Look at this. I am one who likes the portal in the sky kind of thing, and this is fantastic for that.
Try to have this adjust.
Yeah. So when are we gonna get a portal to Phyrexia in Duskmourn?
We're not.
Fuck you! I want one.
But I mean, it'd be great to see the Phyrexians come back. We've already seen evidence of their books in the art.
Which the book says Elesh Norn because I learned to read a little bit of Phyrexian, and it absolutely says Elesh Norn on the spine. Mm-hmm. There's also evidence that we're getting a little bit of potential Phyrexian artifacts here and there.
It's true.
So that's really exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
For the people, not so much, maybe, but
Yeah. At this point, I refuse to believe that they're just going to drop the Phyrexians somewhere.
so. Having seen this is the pack you got for the price. How do you feel about it?
Well, Screaming Nemesis is a pretty darn good mythic. I think it's making a big splash in Standard. The foil land, this is like my 4th one of this particular kind, so not bad. Mm-hmm. Swarm Weaver's pretty cool, but all in all, I would not say that this was probably worth $30 as a pack.
Okay.
I would guess.
Now, not all of them are going to be like this. This is blind luck.
Yes.
So with this in mind, you would say this is not quite worth it?
This pack wasn't a hit, no.
So do you think these guys are going to be a little bit more worth it?
Well, considering that they're free, I don't think I would buy the $50 pack just for this guy, but we'll see, like, comparatively in value.
Because you know what you're getting.
Right.
With the other, so.
So we got four tries to get something that's similar to this, like one good pack, or one good rare, and some uncommons and uncommons.
Let me move these guys over so they're visible for those who are curious, but not So you have plenty of room to open your little babies.
So, would you like to open one?
Sure, I'll open one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see.
One thing that I've always found interesting about these is like, how does it feel to open them? They're so small.
I'm so worried about bending, I'll be honest. They're so flat. Like, because usually with a pack, you can kind of tug against here and get it to open. I kind of can, thank you.
In a way, your tiny hands, yeah.
My tiny fucking hands. All right, so we open with, let's take the scam card out. Not even a token.
Yep.
We call it the scam card. It's not a scam card, I know, but still. All right, so which way do you think we should do it? Just flip it upright or take off the top?
I would say let's take off the top.
Okay, so we've got...
Attack in the box.
Okay, for those who don't like clowns, like, I'm sorry. It's cool, though. And this is an uncommon. Whenever Attack in the Box attacks, you may have it get a +4/+0 until the end of turn. If you do, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So you don't have to. And it's a 2/4 on its own anyway. Mm-hmm. So it can kamikaze itself, but that's about it.
Yes.
All right. So there's that.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh.
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 This is
Wow.
fancy. Look at this. What does it do? Talk me
It's a
through it.
legendary enchantment creature nightmare.
Oh.
The Mind Scanner can't be blocked if a source you control would deal damage to an opponent. Prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards, and its cost is 3 blue.
Okay, so it's 3 blue, and whenever it hits, it mills your opponent for 10.
But also, take a look at its ability to hit.
Yeah, it can't be blocked.
No, it is an absolutely vicious card. It's very pretty, very shiny. I have no idea what this would retail for. I can do a quick check, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
this is a very
This is-
gorgeous one, and it's got that alternate art. This might actually be a solid hit.
Yeah. I'm going to have my phone out occasionally. I'm going to do some research here and there. And it's called the Mind Scanner. Mm-hmm. And what website do you use to find out the worth of these cards?
I go back and forth. I'll take a look at TCG Player as one of the best ways to take a look at the cost of a card. That's what it's selling at that particular day.
Versus Scryfall.
Scryfall allows you to look up and search cards that might be great for your deck.
Like this guy. You can
Yeah.
also look by the art. Mm-hmm. So the Scryfall, this one... It looks... Okay. The rare English foil... I'm going to pass this to you just so you can take a look, because you can read the site better than me.
It looks like it's about $1.50.
Okay, so it's not as big a deal as maybe we thought.
Mm-hmm. But it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so pretty. I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
And I am checking chat. If you feel like saying anything, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, you're welcome to hang out. We're happy to have anyone along for this ride.
I know there's a couple of you, so yay. Okay,
All right.
so take the
scam card.
scam card.
All right. And now, starting from the bottom, we've got an Inquisitive Glimmer.
It's Fox.
Unlock costs we pay cost 1 less, and enchantment spells we cost 1 less. This is for the doors, the different fancy rooms that you can unlock in Dustmorn.
All right, let's hold it up. Let them take a look at the.
It's very pretty, very shiny.
Because I mean, it's got a cute little animal. We love our glowing animals in this. That's a big theme I've noticed in Dustmorn.
Oh yeah,
Love
the glimmers.
Very exciting. What we got?
All right, we've got
Ooh.
the Unstoppable Slasher. Now this is one that's caught your eye before. You want
Yes.
to talk about this one?
Sure. As somebody who I like swamps, I like black white. That's what I do. Whenever Unstoppable Slasher deals combat damage to a player, they lose half their life rounded up. Just like that. Cost is only 3, it's pretty low. When Unstoppable Slasher dies, if it had no counters on it, returns to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with 2 stun counters on it. Again, this is a pretty scary card to come across. Mm-hmm. It's only 2/3, but it's got Death Touch.
Oh yeah.
So
Even blocking is a menace.
good luck trying to hit this guy. It will not go well for you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much he costs though.
Unstoppable Slasher has been highly sought after. I think it would be at least about $5.
$5? Hey.
That's just my guess,
Okay.
but who knows? Could be wrong. If you guys out in the chat know how much it's worth, please tell us.
Yeah,
We'd love
please.
to know.
Fill us in. We love that.
All right. 2 more. All right. We got our scam card. And then, let's start off the top. Intruding Soul Rager. Vigilance. Sacrifice a room. Intruding Soul Rager deals 2 damage to each opponent. Draw a card. Pretty. I love the kind of red-green, what is it, the 3D glasses kind of
Oh,
effect.
yeah, very 80s. Very 80s.
Very 80s. And then, of course, we got ourselves a rare.
You probably want to move a little closer. You're starting to get off cam.
Okay.
We can scooty booty them down.
Okay.
Where do you want to put them?
All right. So,
Oh.
peer past the veil. Discard your hand. Then draw X cards, where X is the number of card types among cards in your graveyard.
Ooh.
Green, red. I could see this being really nice for, like, you're playing a green-red aggro deck in Commander or something like that. You've got nothing in hand.
Maybe you've got 1 card, you're suffering, it's just a land.
Yeah, it's late game, and then boom, you can just get a whole new grip of cards and be able to start going off again.
It's a little bit trust from the heart of the cards, but if you've built your deck well, that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Well, would you like the last sample pack?
Sure. Let's go with that. Can I get this guy open without hurting the cards? Yes, I can. Let's get rid of the scam card first. Scam card for you.
Yay.
Okay. All right. Here we go. And boom. Ooh, look at that.
Rise of the Moth.
Right of the Moth.
That's your colors, too.
It is my colors. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Got it. It has flashback as well.
So you effectively get to use that card twice.
It is a little expensive.
It is a
to be
little
fair.
expensive, yeah.
Just noting that, but it's certainly not bad. All right. And
Rare.
last one. Here we go. Bam.
Hedge Shredder. Whenever it attacks, you can mill 2 cards, and whenever 1 or more land cards are put from your graveyard into your graveyard from your library, put them into the battlefield tapped. Crew 1.
Okay.
I mean, for a self-mill deck, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's not the most exciting thing.
No.
We're not getting a lot of the things I find really exciting, but it's not bad. All right. So we opened 4 of the little guys and 1 of the big guys.
Yes.
Do you feel like this is a good rep, basically, of what you get out of these?
Well, it looks like we've got an uncommon and a rare per pack,
Yes.
which is kind of cool.
No legendaries, though.
No legendaries. I didn't see any major kind of correlation between, like, the themes of what's going on in the decks. Like here, this was...
There seems to be 1 shiny in each one as well.
Yes,
at least,
1
at
shiny
least.
uncommon.
I
Which,
mean, and are very shiny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not unlike basically taking 1 slot from this column and 1 slot from this column. But I think if you're going to get something really cool, you're still not going to have the chance for that in a sample pack. So, I don't know. I think it's a nice little free include, but I'd never go out of my way to buy something like this.
If you just want to get Duskmourn, you don't have any Duskmourn, is it better to, like, roll the dice, or is it better to get something where you know what you're getting and then get a couple little bonuses
I think...
for the price?
I think if you are someone who has never played the game before, starting with a commander deck and then getting something cool like this is a real fun way to get started, because you can then literally sit down at your local store and start playing. But if you start going with packs like these are really designed for the very entrenched players that already have 2 or 3 decks and have places to put cards. So, with that in mind, I wouldn't buy the sample packs, but given that they're free with a commander deck, pretty cool.
Yeah, they're kind of tits. I'm not gonna lie. And don't be surprised if you get it. You're like, oh, this is 3 cards. It's not. It's not 3 cards. Congratulations.
Yeah. Do you think a token should be counted as a card in a pack?
Yes, I do. But I say that as somebody who's a big fan of cool tokens. I love collecting the tokens. I know I am unique in this regard. I'm going to scoot in a little bit. I can't reach the ground, so I have to be all weird about it.
Absolutely. So,
There we go.
we've now reached the Dungeons and Dragons portion of our show.
Yes, our Broken Seal campaign.
The Broken Seal campaign.
Broken Seal campaigning. Now, let's go over, before we start, because we got to start very soon, let's go over how a Broken Seal campaign works. I'm going to talk about it a little bit just in basic. What you do is you get a pack. You can also do these kind of things with your own decks. You can do these things with variety packs if you want to.
Cubes.
You could do it with a cube, 100%, and it depends on how long you want to make it. The goal is to really average about 1 card used every 5 minutes. So for a lovely 15, you're looking at about 2.5 hours. Sometimes a little less, sometimes the cards go quick together, we'll see. Sometimes they go a little slower, it all depends. And you can pick a pack based on its theme, in this case, horror. I'm a big fan of horror. It's still spooky season to me. Fuck you can't take it from me. And we'll start by doing this. I'm going to open this. I'm going to take out whatever the token or land is that is available to me. That is going to determine our setting. After that, I'm going to take 3 cards. Those 3 cards are going to give me an idea of how I can start this game. I go, okay, this is where our setting's going to be. Okay, this is kind of our call to action. It's basically a test of how fast can I drum up a narrative. And I can go simple, like you're camping in the woods with your brother. Like, I can do that, or I can do something a little bit more difficult. I can give you an actual character themselves. Like, okay, you are this character now. And I can show you one of the characters of the 3. After I draw those 3, I am only drawing a card when I'm ready for the story to progress and change. I will not be looking at the other cards. I will not be touching these other cards. None of that until I'm ready for the story to progress. I can do little fun things like, oh, do you want to look for a stick in the woods? I can do things like that. And how you play the story is going to depend on your dice rolls.
Absolutely.
Unlike Dungeons & Dragons, he doesn't have a lot of base stats. All base stats are basically 0, and then everything is determined by modifiers.
Absolutely.
We could do modifiers in advance, but I find that it streamlines the play a little bit to do modifiers as they come up. Keep modifiers simple. We write down the modifiers over here. Very, very simple things like a nature check. We're going to need initiative. We're going to need stealth, healing. It's going to be some basic stuff that I can apply to everything. Some things I'm going to tell you what your modifier is. Sometimes you're at fat 0 because if you are a fun city boy, you're not going to have any aptitude in nature. Other times, the other modifiers we're going to get are for combat. Unlike normal D&D where you have a combat modifier, your combat modifier is entirely dependent on your weapon. You can get weapons from items from the pack. You can find them in the wild, and instead of that being done to hit points, that modifier is going to go towards your roll. So a weapon makes you more likely to hit. It doesn't make your hit stronger.
So, question then.
Yes.
Let's say I choose as my character, Jace Bellerin, and I've got the magical mind powers to wipe sphinxes and stuff like that. Can I make myself some sort of crazy, super powerful character from Magic's lore?
You could, however, you are always beholden to the D20. So you could be Jace, the strongest man in the world. You roll a 1 or a 2 like I just did magically. Thank you, Die. That was very, very kind of you. Suddenly Jace shoots himself in the foot, lights his toes on fire. Now he's an amputee for the rest of the game.
See, yes. So for the sake of brand risk, I'll be making my own characters. And
if Jace shows up at any point, you know what is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I think Jace is a fuckboy, so I will be making him a fuckboy. Like, just that's how this goes. That's how this goes.
Don't get us started on winter.
Oh, no! Gatekeep, Gaslight, Girl Boss,
yes.
Winter. I will try to be true to the cards. I will look at the flavor text, but this is not going to be taking place inside the world of Magic the Gathering, inside the world of Duskmourn.
Yes.
This is going to be inspired by it. And you will be facing enemies from the cards.
Absolutely.
You will be facing areas, and all of this will happen, and I will adapt as needed. And here, you can see these. This is how many times you can hit it before it dies. So this guy will have to hit 5 times.
Yes.
It's not the amount of hit points, it's just how many times can you actually hit it. So it's all probability on that. And you can roll really badly, and you can die.
So this It's a very interesting example because this is actually a vehicle.
I was just using it as an example, yeah.
It's a vehicle that can become a creature.
And that's something that I will have to work with and interpret as I see fit.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is that not every creature is an enemy.
Yes.
Some of them will be friends. If I see an opportunity to create a puzzle or a riddle for you using one of the cards, it's not always that you'll fight them. Sometimes it's going to be a riddle. So, and sometimes it'll be what you're experiencing. With Duskmourn, everything's about fears. So your character's probably going to have to face a lot of trauma or fears in order to survive. And that's kind of how we do it. Is there anything I missed? Your goal.
Yes. My goal is to survive the pack.
You have to survive the pack. You may have another goal outside of that, but that's fine. At this point, I don't want to kill you with a pack, but in future packs, I may.
Yeah.
So if Jace is a fuckboy, Lasagna says, hell yes.
Hell yeah. Let's
Jace
go.
is a fuckboy. Excellent. If there's another type of pack you'd like to see us open, if you'd like to see us do a different type of D&D game, again, it's a BS campaign, Broken Seal. I don't know what I'm getting into. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. This is something I'm good at. I like to spin narrative fast and hard, so that's what we're going to go for.
All right. Well, then I think I'm ready to start. Shall we rip the seal and...
Let's break the seal on the campaign.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not going to see these until I put them down. So get excited. So I'm going to open over here so you can't see.
And I don't get to know.
No, he doesn't get to know. Because, I don't want to... Okay, it looks like I've got... Let me just see if this is... Okay. Okay. Cool. I'm going to take one of these initially because it's two-sided.
Okay.
I'm going to put it over here. And that's something I'm going to do. And I'm just going to see if this is... Yeah, that's where we're ending.
Okay.
Okay, so take the 3. That's an interesting 3 to start.
So what's the rule? What's the idea on taking the 3?
The 3 I'm taking is just going to give me an idea of the campaign. This gives me kind of a sense of, okay, here's where I can start. Here's what I can work with. If I just have one card to work with, it's a little harder for me to arrange. And I will be going through these cards as I go through it. And I am looking right now at what we are doing, and I already have some ideas.
Oh, ideas, huh? At this point, should I start thinking about who my character is?
I'm gonna give you your setting.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you the basics of who your character is, and then I would like you to figure out your character's name, draw your character, tell me your character's age. This is going to take place. Yeah. So you're going to be a teenager.
Okay, I'm a teenager.
You're a teenager, and the story is going to start with you and your friends breaking in to an abandoned aquarium on the shore at night.
Okay.
There's more to it than that, I can already tell you. But I will say, this group of friends you're with, they're new friends. They're not old friends.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you've got a lot to prove.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so take your time, figure out what you want. I'm going to sit and ponder what I've got going on. And I'll really quick show the audience where we are starting.
Absolutely. So let's start with, we're talking about new friends. We're talking about fitting in. I think we're going to be playing as, I'm going to call them Arnold.
So we're going to start with this. This is not where we're going, but we're starting with this. Oh, Taito! Hi, Taito! I would never want to escape you, my dear. Thank you for tuning in. You're about to see me torture a priest in a D&D campaign. I'm excited about this. This is not the direction I saw this going.
So we are high schoolers, it seems like?
You are high schoolers.
Okay.
You can put yourself as the youngest or the oldest of the group. But yeah.
So then I'm going to say that this is Arnold. Arnold has just made a whole bunch of new friends at his local high school.
Are you, did you just move here?
Yep, we just moved here. And the only thing that he really has a lot of knowledge on is his interest and skill in the game Magic the Gathering. Um, he hasn't had the chance to really play with anybody. He
Okay.
always has his backpack on. He's
Mhm.
always ready to jam a game
Okay.
if they can find a good table and sit down and find somewhere nice. He really thinks that one of the girls in the group seems to be really interested, but she's
Interesting.
probably very just frustrated and going along with it because he's helping her with his homework. Or
Okay.
he's
I get you. I get you. We're not going to go too much into that because I have more about this friend group that you're with. So you're not going to tell me who's in your friend group. I'm going to tell you.
got it.
But tell me what he's like. What is he? Is he a mama's boy? Is he?
Arnold is very
Because he's nerdy. I'm telling you this right now.
He's nerdy.
He's nerdy.
He's very smart, but he's
Okay.
going to pay for that in the form of physical weaknesses.
Okay.
He's very quick to learn, very perceptive, not good about social cues, but very attentive to the environment and almost kind of like shifty. He's going to be nimble. He's going to be quick to kind of escape. Skittery is kind of what I'm thinking in
Okay.
a word.
Okay. I can absolutely work with that based on what I'm trying to do.
Yes, this is
Okay.
this is going to be someone that avoids combat and instead focuses on cunning and like he's almost like a rogue.
You're gonna try to avoid combat. That doesn't mean you're gonna avoid combat. I honestly don't have a lot of power on if you avoid combat or not.
That's true. That's true.
Keep that in mind because we're gonna put this here so they can kind of see
Okay.
the looming impending doom waiting for you.
Yes, the pack deck.
All right. So this is Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Given what I know about you, I already have some idea of what your modifiers are going to be going forward.
What should my stats be?
We're going to get your stats as we go.
Okay.
It's going to streamline it because I don't think you're going to need some stats. You are going to need others.
I'm thinking about like power and toughness.
Oh, we don't do that.
Oh, okay.
That is 100. Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, let us start with that. Because you are scrawny. It doesn't make sense for you to be able to take a lot of hits.
A typical human in Magic the Gathering is a 1/1.
I'm not sure I like that for what I'm going to do to you.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Can you roll a 4-sided for me?
A
You- you
4-sided
I
die.
rarely going to use that. Also, watch this thing bounce, guys. This thing is fucking stupid.
1.
All right, I guess you are a 1/1. All right, we'll put you at 1/1.
We're a 1/1 human.
Oh my god, you are puny. And that is going to be a problem. I will try not to kill you.
Okay.
Initially.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that is what we are going to do. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. You've just shown up at the edge of the parking lot for the Sandreas Aquarium.
Okay.
Sandreas Aquarium is something you've never heard of, but everyone around town knows it. It has been shut down for the last 20 years.
Okay.
It is well abandoned, and while they've tried to sell the land, because it's on the edge of the ocean, bits of its foundation keep getting swept out to sea. It is no longer fit to inhabit, and so no one has been able to sell it. It stands absolutely barren.
Okay.
You ride up on your bike. This is a bike you got for Christmas, and you think it's pretty cool, but it's not a mountain bike. And as you pull up, you see all of your friends, new friends, about 4 of them, who have cool, flashy, high-tech mountain bikes. I mean, you're out in kind of the boonies. So you got a nice little street bike. It's not handling the roads very well, but you get there, you put your bike up against the chain link fence, and you go over to them.
So, a few questions before we go too much further. Just fleshing out my character. What does he know about this aquarium outside of that it's broken down? Do I know it's an aquarium?
You absolutely do know about this. Your friends have told you this is what we are going to do tonight.
Okay.
It is October. It is a time for mischief. And one of these kids, the oldest, let's call him... Oh, hey, chat, let's do this. Hey, chat, if you're listening, give me a name. I'll come back to him. There is a girl in this group you like.
Okay.
Her name is Annie.
Annie.
Annie. She's a little bit older than you. Her younger brother's in the group, but she kind of hangs out with them anyway. She's a little bit dorky, but she's really quick with the tongue. She's not very friendly. She's a little standoffish, and she doesn't like that you're kind of the new person in this group, and she's made that very apparent.
She has a good tongue. Got it.
You have a crush on her.
Okay. And her tongue.
But she really doesn't show any interest in you other than you're a twerpy little kid.
I have 4 Tarmogoyfs, Annie.
Oh my god, dude. I'll tell you what. Did you say how old you were?
I was aiming for like 17.
Oh no, you are younger than that.
Am I 15?
You're like 14.
14.
Okay. Like, we can roll to see if you're 14 or 15 if you want to. Yeah, give me that guy.
Evens odds?
Evens odds.
Okay.
All right, you are 15. Congratulations.
All right, I'm 15.
Cool beans. So that's one of your friends. I'm gonna write her down so I have that.
Sounds great. It looks like you got a name from the chat.
Johnson. Oh god. So Johnson. Then there's Tony. Tony is Annie's little brother. He's about your age.
Okay.
And Tony's the first one you kind of became acquainted with.
Okay.
And I need one more name. Lasagna, Taitao. You guys want to give me one more name as I describe Tony? Tony has done this before. He's been into the aquarium before, and he wants to show you guys. He says he did it last Halloween. It was super scary. There's all of this cool museum exhibits inside, kind of like Monterey Bay Aquarium. Mm. But they're decrepit, and they're run down, and all the exhibits are broken, and they definitely didn't get all of the fish out of there when they moved out. In fact, there's a lot of rumors as to why the aquarium closed in the first place.
No, that's fair.
The prevailing theory is that some sort of poison got into the water filtration system. And not only did it kill all the fish, the fumes actually poisoned several adults and children, one of whom passed away.
Got it.
There is evidence of this that you found online, but the details kind of vary as to what exactly happened to cause this incident. From what you can tell, though, it was a madhouse that day, and it was evacuated. It was declared a hazardous zone, and no one ever really came back to it. So then it was shut down.
Okay.
But Tony's hype about this. Tony wants to go.
Okay, Tony's hype.
Tony is so hype about that. He wants to go. Again, he is your age. Johnson is his older friend, and he really wants to impress older friend Johnson. Johnson's a little bored. Johnson definitely is very interested in Annie.
Why are we calling Johnson by his last name?
No, that's his first name.
That's his first name?
Yes.
Johnson Jones?
No. His name is Johnson Tim.
Johnson Tim?
Johnson Tim. Johnson Tim is this the oldest. He's a little bit older than Annie. He definitely has a thing for Annie.
Okay.
He's a little too cool for this, but at the same time, he likes being a little bit, he's head of the group. He's super cool. Everybody likes him, and he likes feeling that power. All right. I don't have a new name for the last one, so I'm going to have to make it up. If you guys don't give one, guess I'll have to do it. And the last one's Eric.
Eric. Got it.
Eric, if you are puny, Eric is a fetus. Eric is very scrawny, very awkward. He has braces, and he's very uncomfortable in his own skin.
Okay.
But Johnson kind of looks after him. Johnson kind of protects him, so they have this really great rapport. And Annie seems to think of him like a cute little brother, even though, Tony's her little brother. She doesn't give a shit about him. Just older sister things.
Okay.
As one does.
Right.
And they're waiting for you, and they've all gotten there with their mountain bikes. Even Eric has a really cool, yellow and black mountain bike. The last to arrive.
Oof.
As you come up, you look up and you can see the front of the aquarium. All of the windows in the front, which were obviously large picture windows, have been shattered out. And there's been boards put across them, but it's not really enough to cover that. And all across the pavement in front of the building is just tons and tons of broken glass.
Okay.
And so that's where we start. We start at the shattered yard.
Okay.
Surrounded by broken glass.
Okay.
Now, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to roll... You've brought some stuff in your backpack, right?
Yeah, I have my backpack. I got some magic decks.
Okay, you brought magic decks. That's cool. Did you bring a flashlight?
Yeah, I've probably got a flashlight. Just, like some of my homework from school. Probably oh my god. I've got my medicines.
You have medicine. Okay, so you have... Okay.
Yeah, probably my inhaler.
All right, why don't you make a note that you have medicine in your bag? This is your bag now.
Okay.
So is it like a painkiller?
I'm thinking more like an inhaler.
Okay, so inhaler. Do
Yeah.
you have asthma?
Sometimes you can get into coughing fits.
Okay.
More, not necessarily that he has trouble breathing.
Okay. Very cool, very cool. I'm going to say that you also felt a little nervous, and you decided to bring a pocket knife.
Pocket knife. Okay.
It's not a strong pocket knife, so I'm going to have you roll a d4 to tell me how strong this pocket knife is.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ooh, let's go.
All right. This is not a pocket knife. Your dad, much to his chagrin about having a weakling for a kid, has made sure that you're always equipped with anything you need to go out in the woods to hunt. You come from the city, you've never had to use it before, but you have a brand new Bowie knife that you're happy to take out with you, so you have this knife.
Okay. Then it's a +4.
As a +4, that's going to help
Okay.
you with all of your combat rolls. Initiative is going to be a different matter. So you walk up to this group of your 4 friends. Again, you've known these people for like a couple weeks at school. You just started school. Keep in mind, it's mid-October. School started like a month and a half ago. You don't know these people very well. And they look at you. Johnson kind of looks at you, gives you a nod, and goes, "Hey man, you're late."
Oh, sorry. I was just finishing my homework, and I just got a new set of packs in, and so I was tweaking my decks a little. I guess time got away from me. I'm sorry.
Johnson looks at you like you're speaking an entirely different language. He goes, "Packs? Like
Oh yeah, no. See, I was just catching up on some Mirrodin. I was really getting into it.
Tony at this point grabs you by the shoulder and says, "Hey man, how about we talk about what we're here to do tonight?" You can tell he's really excited about this, but also you sense kind of the warning in his voice.
I'm happy you said that because the thing about what we're gonna do tonight, I'm not sure if it's entirely legal.
Eric seems 100% in favor of this. He goes, "Yeah, this seems kind of a weird thing to be doing this late at night. I mean, I had to lie to my mom and said when I went to bed. I mean..."
See, we don't... Eric's just a little guy. He shouldn't have to be lying to his parents about being able to, leave his house.
Annie's looking at you like you are just pathetic. She rolls her eyes and she says, "Look, you don't have to be here. You can go home if you want to. We'll do this without you."
No, I want to do this. I am so cool to do this. I'm so cool.
I'm going to ask you to roll persuasion. Persuasion is going to be like all of your talk. We're going to figure out your persuasion modifier. So give me a persuasion.
All right. We got a persuasion modifier.
Find out what his persuasion modifier is.
6 is what I got.
Really?
Yes, we got a 6. I am very cool.
So now give me a d20.
Okay.
And a lot of this is going to be, I'm not gonna actually roll against these people. There are certain things I just have in my head where this is going to be convincing enough. This is not going to be convincing enough.
13.
He is convincing.
I am so cool.
You are so cool. And she kind of looks at you and goes, "All right, chill. Okay, I hear you." And she turns and looks at Eric and goes, "Look, I'm not going to let anything happen to you tonight. If your parents get mad, tell them you slept over at me and Tony's. Tell them Tony needed help with something because he's failing out of math again." Tony just shoots her a look. He's like, "God damn it, dude, don't."
Again, a second time.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
This is your friend. Tony is your closest friend out of the group.
It's Tony. I thought we were working on this.
Tony looks at you and is like, "Yeah, I've been working on it. It used to be an F. I'm at a D. It's an improvement."
Well, D means don't stop trying.
Johnson just laughs under his breath. Eric is just nodding. Annie goes, "Look, are we going to do this or not? I am standing here. I'm getting cold. I'd like to just go in and see whatever the shit this is Tony's so excited to show us."
All right. So at this point, Arnold very clearly doesn't want to do this, but he's going along with it. And so I would like to inspect the building to see how tough it looks to get into.
All right. Go ahead and give me a persuasion. Keep in mind, this is going to help determine this.
Persuasion?
Excuse me, a perception.
Okay.
But before you do that, take a look. When you unlock this door or room, it deals damage to target creature. We're not dealing with that necessarily. But the idea is that there's broken glass everywhere.
Okay.
You already are aware that there is broken glass and that you're going to have to kind of get in past it through the windows.
Okay.
That is enough. So after this, let's see a perception.
All right.
I'm going to... you're an observant kid, right?
I don't think we've done perception yet.
I'm trying to see if I... Cause,
I have glasses.
Okay, that doesn't necessarily give me faith that you... Also make note of that you have possession of glasses, because you can lose that shit.
It's on my character. Okay, sounds good.
Give me a D4 perception.
Okay.
I think that's going to be... We're going to use D4 a little bit, because this guy's puny. Alright. Nice.
Nice. I can see so good.
Alright, so your perception is going to be a +4.
+4.
Alright, give me... I'm keeping track over here of your attributes. You don't need to keep track of them if you don't want to. You can ask me anytime.
Sounds
I
good.
won't lie, promise.
Okay.
Give me a D20 to find out what you find out.
Oh.
Okay, so that's a 9. Okay. When you look at the front of the building, you can see the sign that says Sandreas Aquarium. Most of the letters have been shattered too. It's like people have stood outside this thing and just thrown rocks at it, so there's glass everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get past the chain link fence, there is a hole in that chain link fence that you're sure one of your friends has made.
Oof.
Probably Tony.
Okay.
Since he's been here before.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that you have to go through the chain link fence, go across this area of just so much broken glass, and then get through one of the windows. You do notice that one window to the left-hand side of the entrance does have less broken glass in it than the others.
Okay. Well, guys, this place is kind of a mess. Like, look at all this glass. How are we not going to hurt ourselves?
Tony goes, dude, it's fine. First of all, you're not wearing like sandals, are you?
No, they're called moccasins.
Johnson again stifles his laughter. Goes, Jesus fucking Christ, under his breath. Tony says, yeah, it'll be fine. You walk with your feet straight up and down, you don't shuffle, and you don't kick. If you kick glass into somebody else's shins behind you, that's a serious problem. You can always go last if you want to.
No, I want to be the leader because I am so down and ready to break and enter into the fish place.
You've said this already, and the group does believe you. Like, they don't doubt you in this. Tony seems a little hesitant, though. It's like he doesn't want you to go first for some reason.
Okay. Unless, Tony, you've got a better idea.
Well, he says, look, I know you're new here. You don't really know all the legends about this place.
Okay.
So, I worry that you'd get kind of scared.
Got it. No, that makes sense. I have been known to be scared at points in my life.
Okay.
Maybe a legend should lead the way, like you, Tony.
Tony puffs up his chest. He goes, well, I mean, that was what I was going to do. But you can go after me if you want.
Deal.
You can go second.
Deal.
Cool. He kind of pulls you aside for a second. Goes, look, I know it's your first time with the group. I know you're trying really hard to be cool. I just have one big request.
Yeah, what's up?
Once we're inside, you cannot wander off. You have to stay with me.
Got it. No go anywhere where I can't see you.
And another thing.
Yes.
No matter what you see, you cannot scream.
No screaming.
That is so important. I can't tell you enough. If you scream in there, bad shit's gonna happen to us, man.
Okay. What if we see a fish?
We're gonna see a lot of fish, man.
A lot of fish men or a lot of fish?
You know what? We'll find out when we get inside.
Okay.
But you can't scream and you can't wander off. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Like,
I might scream a little bit if I see a fish.
no, you can't scream at all.
No scream at all.
No scream at all.
If
you scream, bad things are gonna happen to us, bro.
No scream the fishy.
No scream the fishy.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna have enough to hard of a time with like Eric, but the problem is when he gets scared, he just kind of squeals like a little pig. So I mean, I don't have to worry about him screaming. He's done this shit before.
Okay, don't scream first.
Don't scream at all. You can
Okay.
see he's getting really aggravated with you at this point.
No scream.
Okay. It's your last chance to back out. If you don't want to go in, I understand. Can you handle this?
No scream, no lead, no leave, no fishy.
No fishy. Okay. Cool. Well, he goes back to the group. Okay, guys, I'm gonna lead the way. Follow me very carefully past all the glass.
Okay, we're gonna follow. We're gonna follow.
So you follow Tony across the asphalt, and the fragments of glass start out as just occasional, but now there's giant, jagged pieces, the kind that if you put your foot down on top of one, it could potentially go right through your moccasin.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to be very, very careful.
All right. I would like to. Should I roll to see how carefully I traverse?
Not quite.
Okay.
I have something coming for you.
Coming for us.
Yes, something for you specifically.
Okay.
As you reach the window, you can kind of get a glimpse inside. The wooden slat is across it halfway, and then there's little bits of jagged glass at the bottom that you'll have to step over. It's doable. It's not a problem. But inside, you can see that it is almost pitch black, except for this strange, faint blue glow inside, very far away down to the left.
Okay.
And when you see that, you kind of get this weird feeling in your gut.
Okay.
And I'd like you to make a saving throw.
A saving throw.
I'd like you to make a saving throw.
Okay.
A saving throw, there's no base modifier, it's just, do you beat me?
Okay.
So, give me a roll.
I've got a 14.
Okay. 2. So, you swallow hard, you take a deep breath, you say, I can do this. And as Tony steps inside, you follow in after him.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you're in a very slimy aquarium.
Ooh.
To your right, you can see what looks like a hall of museum exhibits that have fallen down over the years. There's things like a large plaster whale with half of its face just shattered. To your left, there's that faint blue glow down in the darkness, kind of in a tunnel area. And you kind of get this creeping sensation wherever you look at it. But the other direction, you kind of see there's once a gift shop there, maybe there was a restaurant down the way, and there's a path that looks like it goes to large glass pillars that used to hold things like facts about the ocean.
Okay.
You don't initially see any live creatures, but there's this terrible, musty, sour smell. Not quite like salt water, like the ocean, but almost like the smell of some sort of bile. It's not so strong it destroys your nostrils, but it's enough that all of you can smell it. Annie wrinkles her nose and goes, oh, God, what the hell is that? And Tony looks back at her and goes, it smells like that everywhere. Some places it's worse than others. Stick close. You'll get used to it in a few minutes. Don't worry.
Okay. But what's the blue haze? What's that? My character, Arnold, says, gesturing at the blue haze that I saw earlier.
Tony gives it a little glance and says, don't worry about it. We're going to go look at that soon.
Oh.
There's some stuff we have to do first now that we're inside.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Because that is what I want to show you. I do want to take you there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But you're going to have to, we're going to have to get a few things from the gift shop. So,
The gift shop?
yeah, we got to get a few things from the gift shop.
Okay.
That thing is totally unlooted. Like, I don't take anything out of it unless I'm using it for here, though.
That's fair.
So, let's go get our shit, okay?
Okay.
Eric, at this point, seems pants-sweatingly nervous. And he looks at you kind of pleadingly as if, like, for help.
I think... Oh my gosh, I had this just massive inclination to be mean to Eric, but I'm gonna...
You can do whatever the fuck you want, man.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the best storyline thing to do. It's like, you gonna be alright there, little guy? Little baby man?
And he looks at you and kind of flashes you a quick braces smile and a thumbs up. And she goes, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. He says like way too loud. Everybody can hear him saying this.
Guys, I don't think he's gonna be fine.
No, I'm gonna be fine. You know, I'm gonna roll a persuasion check for.
Okay.
Oh no, he's not persuasive.
You got a 2.
No one believes this, and they kind of look at Tony and go like, "Dude, why did we bring Eric?" And Annie goes over and goes, "Hey, it's okay." Gives him a hug. Goes, "We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be a really nice time. If ever it gets really bad, you can just come walk with me, okay?" And he goes, "Okay," and kind of gives her a hug back, and she leads him in the direction of the gift shop with everybody else.
Sweet. All right, so we've got our emotional core of the team. Very cool. Let's go look at the gift shop.
Okay. You go to the gift shop. There are 2 open glass door frames. There's no glass in them anymore. It's been shattered. There's just still glass everywhere. It's like somebody came through with a baseball bat and just destroyed everything systematically.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go into the gift shop, you see that Tony's right. There's a lot of old plushies that seem to have been overcome by mold and water over the years. There's snow globes that at this point have no water left in them. There's pens. There's lighters that are probably completely defunct at this point. And there's a cash register that has been busted open and there's no cash inside. You can see that from here.
Mm-hmm.
There's other plaques, memorabilia, plates, things like that. Tony gestures and goes, "Look, you guys can pick out like a souvenir or something if you want. There's something I've got to go get behind the counter." And he goes over to the counter. "What would you like to do?"
Let's see. So what would be in a museum? Or not a museum, an aquarium. I would like to see what kind of... I'm trying to think. Do they have any sort of convincing looking plushies?
All the plushies are molded, I can tell you that. Like
they're molded. Okay, that's right.
It
That's
stood
right.
vacant for 10 years, and it's really musty and moldy and sour in here. The sour... Don't kick that. The sour smell is not as bad in here as in the rest of it. And you can tell there were no fish in here at any point. There were no live animals in here at any point.
Does it look like there's any corkscrews for, like, wine openers?
You can give me a perception check. There are no corkscrews to be found. In fact, as you look for corkscrews, you back into a shelf and one of the mold-covered plushies drops down on the back of your neck, and you can feel that it's very wet and very fuzzy.
Oh, that texture makes me unhappy.
What are you going to do when the plushie hits you?
Panic.
So,
I rolled a 1.
yeah,
So I have to face some sort of consequence.
That's what I'm going to say. Or do you scream? Do you want to try to roll to see if you scream?
I think I have to.
You're going to roll a saving throw against me. So,
Okay.
give me a saving throw. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. So you manage to stifle your scream, but you still shiver all over, kind of dust the thing off the back of your neck, and you look up to see Eric looking at you from the other end of the aisle, and he goes, "Now who's the baby man?" And he walks away.
I just got fucking roasted by Eric.
All right, can you give me another perception check to see if you find anything?
Absolutely.
Ooh, very nice. 1 second. Cool. All right. As you're looking through, you spot what appears to be a map of the aquarium.
Okay.
You pick it up. It's kind of flimsy feeling still, and it's a little faded, but you can still clearly make out the different exhibits, and you can see where you are. There's the gift shop. You can see the museum exhibits down there. Straight ahead, past the museum exhibits around the corner, there's an otter exhibit and penguins. And the other way is the deep under the sea area. That's where the blue stuff that was glowing that you saw was.
Interesting. Okay.
So you have a map now.
Yes. Map.
You have a map. What do you wanna do now?
I don't have a flashlight. We'll see if they have any novelty flashlights.
Okay. Give me a perception. Absolutely. You find a small click on, click off flashlight, and when you click it, it does glow faintly. It obviously has not been used for a long time, but the batteries aren't that strong. So it gives you a faint glow, like you can see fairly far ahead of you. Up until this point, you've been following the light from outside and Tony's flashlight. Tony has a big honking camping flashlight. Can you hang on to the handle above it to see? And it's been illuminating everything.
How many are there?
The little pen lights?
Yeah.
There's 6 of them.
Should I call for the... I think I'm going to call the group and tell everyone, hey, if you guys don't have an emergency flashlight, come get one of these.
Okay. You call out, and all of them look at you and say, you didn't bring a flashlight? We're going into an abandoned building. You didn't bring a flashlight? Eric looks at you. Eric looks at you and says, I brought an extra if you'd rather have a better one.
You know, when I say it out loud, it sure does sound very bad. I would love to borrow your flashlight, Eric.
Sure. So Eric holds out a flashlight to you, and it's significantly bigger. It's better than the shitty little pen light.
Thank you, Eric. I'm sorry for calling you a baby man.
He goes, that's okay. Everyone does.
Oh my god. Okay.
Tony at this point has popped up from behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding a small cardboard box in his hand that is shut. He goes, okay, I got what I need. Mm-hmm. We can go now if you guys want. I'll show it to you when we get down there, but we're going to go to the under the sea area. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. As you leave the gift shop and follow the light of your own flashlight and everybody else's, you can see that the path, there's one that goes up and to the right. This one goes down and kind of spirals around in a half circle. This tunnel is really, really dark. And you can see that as you get deeper into it, there's glass above you that probably once let you look like you're physically under the sea. Mm-hmm. This glass is still intact, but you can't really see through it because it doesn't look like there's any water there. It just looks like green, thick green mold or algae. And you're not sure if there's actually still water there or if it's just mold and algae. Use a napkin. The smell is getting stronger the deeper down you go. And I'd like you to make a saving throw.
Okay, for the smell?
Just in general.
Just a saving throw in general.
Yes. Okay, 14?
14.
Okay.
14 to your 16.
Yep. At this point, you start to feel sick to your stomach.
Ooh, okay.
You feel nauseated. Not quite like you're going to throw up, but you can kind of feel like your head sway a little bit inside. And you're going to call out to Tony. And what do you want to say to him?
Hey, Tony, is it normal to feel like I'm going to throw up in here?
He looks over his shoulder and goes, yeah, like I said, you'll get used to it. If you take a couple deep breaths and hold it for a second, the smell will stop bothering you.
Okay.
You do this, there is no change. It feels like your heart is just beating out of your chest with every step downward you take into the darker, darker darkness towards this blue light. And as you get down there, you realize that you are faced with a sickening sense of dread.
Ooh, okay.
This dread is going to decrease temporarily until it's gone. It's going to decrease all of your modifiers by 1.
Okay.
So everything is at a -1 right now.
Because I'm experiencing dread.
Because you're experiencing this deep sense of dread.
Okay.
Like you can feel your knees shaking a little bit. You still feel like you're going to throw up. It's just, you've never done anything like this before. You're a good kid. And here you are in an abandoned aquarium in the dead of night. It's approaching midnight, and you're on this path down into this awful, dank, smelling murk.
Yeah, this is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
You're not the only one. You can hear Eric's teeth chattering behind you. Behind him, you can hear Annie occasionally saying something nice to him. Johnson in the back is totally silent. He's just walking after you guys. As you reach the bottom, You turn a corner, and in front of you are a bunch of empty glass cylinders. Giant ones. You can see that glass has been broken on several sides of it, and the carpet underneath is darkened to an inky black from the fluid that has spilled out and just seeped into the carpet.
Interesting.
All of these are empty except for one.
Okay.
At the very, very back of this small room, next to an exit and another smaller black door that says employees only, there's one cylinder that is tall and glowing a bright, pleasant blue.
Okay.
Inside it, you see hundreds of jellyfish, about
Yay.
the size of your fist.
Okay.
All of them are iridescent blue and flitting about. They move in sudden bursts and then go still. If they bump into each other, there seems to be a sudden erratic movement and then both of them drift away.
Well, I love jellyfish. And so, me in excitement, I want to go up and take a look at them.
You start to move towards it and Tony immediately throws out a hand in front of you and holds on to you and goes, "Don't do that.
Why? They're just jellyfish.
Be very quiet.
What are we trying to be quiet from?
This is what I wanted to show you guys. Come on." And Tony leads you over to the jellyfish, and you're all very, very quiet. Even Johnson seems a little bit weirded out by what's going on. And this cylinder of jellyfish looks completely packed. And as you get up to it, he opens up his little brown box, and he pulls out a small UV light.
A UV light.
And he
Okay.
goes, "Watch this." He pulls up the UV light to the glass. Where he does, all the jellyfish stop fluorescing. And they go deathly still.
That's scary.
He takes the light away. The jellyfish do not start to fluoresce again. Not only that, other jellyfish slowly close in around them, their tentacles reaching out. And they wrap around what you're guessing are the deceased jellyfish and start tearing them quietly apart.
Oh.
Tony looks at you guys and says in a very low whisper, "If somebody screams or yells, they seem to die. If UV light is shown on them, they seem to die. And then they cannibalize each other.
Wow.
That's the only way they've stayed alive. I think they purify the water. They're the only things that are still alive in here. But all I know is that if you yell, they can die. And other ones, the bigger ones, they can get violent."
That's scary. How did there get to be so many?
He says, "I don't know. I've been coming here for a couple of years now. I told Annie about it a while ago and she didn't believe me." She nods and says, "Yeah, that's why I wanted to come tonight. I wanted to see if this was real or not." He goes, "Occasionally I bring the black light down here just to kill some of them to make sure that the other ones get something to eat."
Wow.
Because they've been living like this for, 10 years?
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Wait. When did you start doing that?
He goes, well, I was about 10. So I came in here on my own.
But how many years ago?
It's about 4, I guess.
And the museum's been closed for 10 years?
Yeah, at least.
Who was doing that before?
I don't know, he says.
Weird.
Maybe it didn't. For all I know, maybe they survive on their own without eating. I'm just worried about them dying, so I've been coming in here to, cull the herd.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But I just thought it was, super cool, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, every time I'm down here, I have this horrible, creeping sense like something's gonna go wrong. And I've never gone into the employee room because I'm too scared to do it alone. I've never gone, through that exit. I didn't want to do any of that alone because I figured, something could go weird. And suddenly I'm trapped in here with jellyfish? That would suck, man. So I want to make sure you guys were here to come with me on this one. So I want to go through the employee door today.
Okay.
Are you guys okay with that?
Let's go through the door.
Johnson is in on this. He's like, yeah, man, like, I don't think, do you want to have somebody keep watch?
Oof. I think. Eric, how loud can you scream?
Eric looks at you and goes, I can scream really loud. You look at Tony. Tony's going,
Okay, so Eric won't be the lookout.
and he says, do you think we need a lookout? I mean, as long as somebody holds the door open and, like, stays by the door, that's all that should matter, right?
That's fair, but if something goes wrong and it locks behind us, how are we going to get out?
Well, that's why you have somebody just hold the door. It's not like you need a lookout. What, are the jellyfish going to come after you?
Yeah, I suppose we would need, like, a massive flood in this building, you know. What's the chances of an aquarium flooding?
Yeah, all the water's out of here anyway.
Yeah.
All that's left is, like, these jellyfish.
Yeah. We'll be fine.
All right. So are you going to go open the employee door?
I'd like to listen to hear if I hear anything on the other side.
Give me a perception. Remember, your perception is at +3 right now because you're at a negative.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, so I got a 9.
Okay. You hold your ear to the door and you hear absolutely nothing. Not a squeak, not a rustle. It is completely silent. So you're pretty sure there's nothing there.
Okay. I would like to try the door, the handle. Is it a hand, like
It's
a
just a
handle?
handle.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to try the handle carefully.
It turns really readily, absolutely easily.
All right, then I will slowly push it open.
As you enter the room, you see it's a janitor's closet. You were hoping it would be some sort of entrance into the aquarium. It's not. It's just a janitor's closet.
Okay.
Tony's face immediately, in the light of the flashlights, registers deep disappointment.
Oh.
He goes, oh man, I hoped it would, like, go somewhere.
Doesn't mean that this is where it ends. Even if it's a closet, there could be all kinds of stuff in here.
I guess, he says.
Let's look around.
Okay, we can look around. So the group starts to look around.
Okay. Let's inspect, like, the floors or the bookcases to see if there's any evidence of things being moved around on the inside.
All right, give me a perception.
All right. That is a 6.
You don't really find anything that indicates there's any way out of this. It's just, you know, a janitor's closet. However, you do notice there's several closed up cardboard boxes on the shelves.
That's interesting. How fresh do they look?
They do not look fresh. They are mildewed like everything else in here, and they're starting to rip down their seams.
Okay. Then, in that case, I suppose the only thing we could do is, let's inspect the boxes. Like, let's pull one down.
You pull down the boxes and you open it up. Inside there are some pamphlets, there are some training manuals, but what really catches your eye is a strange tan book that you're fairly certain is bound in leather. And on its cover are glistening what look like glass eyes.
Interesting. An eye book. I think at this point, that's when I want to, like, say, hey guys, check this out. This looks weird.
Cool. Andy comes over and immediately goes, oh, it looks ancient. What the hell is this doing in a janitor's closet? Good
Don't-
find.
Maybe he was studying to be an optometrist on the side?
Eric looks at the book and goes, that looks like some shady shit, man.
Well, let's open it and start thumbing through it.
Johnson is standing by the door, kind of holding the door open. He looks over your shoulder and goes, hey, careful. If it's old, it could fall apart. You got to be really careful opening that cover.
I said, what's the worst that could happen? And slam it open.
As you do, Tony turns around and sees you slam that open and his eyes go wide.
Okay.
He goes, "What is that?" No sooner has he said that than the eyes along the cover of the book spring to life and begin to glow.
Oh.
On the inside of the book, you can see it says, "This book belongs to Marina Vendrell." You have no idea who that is, but by the script it's written in, you can tell this book is very, very old.
Okay.
So we have Marina Vendrell's grimoire.
Ooh.
So this is what we have right now. And yeah, by the way, this is a
What a pretty little rare.
yeah.
What does it do?
So just to read it to you. When Marina Vendrell's grimoire enters, if you cast it, draw 5 cards. If you have no maximum hand size, you have no maximum hand size. Don't lose the game for having 0 or less life.
Ooh.
Whenever you gain life, you draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, discard that many cards. If you have no cards in the hand, then you lose.
Ooh. Okay.
In this case, this book sits in front of you. I'm going to put it like this. This book sits in front of you, open, illuminating itself so you can see the pages. As you turn to the first page, it says, "If you are reading this, you are not where you should be." You feel a chill go down your spine, and as you say that quietly out loud for everyone to hear, you can kind of feel all of them shiver as well. As you go on, you see it says, "This book is to catalog what must be done with the creatures of the deep when they have been taken into captivity. The first rule is none of them should be taken into captivity.
Oh.
If you have done this, this book may be the only way to save your souls."
Well, this is spooky. I mean, who's gonna rationally believe that, an aquarium would take something incredibly dangerous from its homeland?
And he goes, "I don't know. I mean, they had orcas at SeaWorld that ate people." Eric pipes up and goes, "Yeah, and eels have been known to bite off fingers and stuff."
Yeah, but eels aren't real.
Johnson turns to the door and goes, "Wow, you're a special kind of stupid, aren't you?"
I mean, if it's scary, then I know it can't possibly be real.
You've barely got these words out of your mouth when you catch sight of Tony's face. He barely breathes the words, "That explains it."
What?
He doesn't have a chance to answer before you hear a strange, sickening, squishing scuttle from outside.
All right, I'd like to turn my attention to whatever made the sound and try and figure out what's going on.
I'm going to say we're going to have a knowledge check. In this case, we're not going to do nature. It's just going to be knowledge. And you have 0. You do not have knowledge in this.
Okay.
Your natural modifier for this, because you are a kid, because you have never been in this area, your knowledge is 0. Because you're in dread right now,
Yes.
that means you're at a -1.
Okay.
So let's do a knowledge check to see if you recognize that sound.
Oh no.
You not only don't recognize this sound, but you immediately just say out loud to them that it must be rats.
Yeah. It must be rats. Like, that's weird. I mean, we're the only people here. It must be rats, and jellyfish can't get outside water, so.
Eric looks at you and goes, "I've never heard a rat that sounds like that in my life." And he kind of looks and goes, "Yeah, this sounded kind of big. And this sounded really creepy, like clicky."
Clicky.
Johnson, who is standing by the doorway, suddenly turns back in to face you and says, "You guys, something's out here, and it's big."
Ooh.
And I'm going to take a check. Okay.
Okay.
Johnson just has enough time to step away from the door And you hear a sharp intake of breath as you see a black, looks almost like a machete, swing towards his chest.
Oh, God.
What do you want to do here?
Try to pull him into the closet.
Roll for initiative. We are going to do initiative, and we don't have initiative for you yet. So there we go. You're kidding! Bro! Okay, so for the record, he got 20 initiative, which is fantastic. Good job. You pull him inside the closet and actually have enough time to get a look outside. And what you see looks like a large trilobite mixed with a crab with glowing blue eyes, the same fluorescent glow as those jellyfish. But it's like nothing you've ever seen before. The face is almost human, almost reptilian, but except it has what looks like an exoskeleton. And you see before you, outside,
a silent hall creeper. Ooh. 1/1 can't be blocked when deals combat damage to a player. Choose one that hasn't been chosen. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Draw a card, or becomes a copy of another target creature I control. Very cool.
what are you going to do about this thing that is now looming in the doorway of this aquarium employee closet?
Slam the door.
Okay. I'm going to need you to make a combat roll.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's your move.
Ooh.
You slam at the door with all your might, and it crushes. The guys join you immediately, throwing their weight against the door, but it's very clear very quickly that this thing is stronger than a lot of you combined. It pushes it back a step, but it flails out its claws, and it bashes the door off of its hinges in the opposite direction.
Oof.
It is stepped back a little bit, though, so there is room between you and it.
Okay.
Behind him, you can see the cylinder of jellyfish, and they appear to be vibrating behind the glass.
Okay. Shoot. Can I I'm worried about using the knife, because the knife could very well end up being single use if it's important, and it's a +4. I don't want to ruin it, but I'm also a toughness of 1. It has a toughness of 1, so I only need to hit it once.
You only need to hit it once.
Can I look around for like a pipe? It's a janitor's closet, so is there
It's janitor's
like
closet.
a tool or
You already did a look in the janitor's closet, and you rolled a 2.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So
So you found the book.
Well, it doesn't make sense to throw the book.
I mean, you could.
I mean, I could throw the book, but
It's
that
not
just
going to give
seems,
you a plus in anything. So.
no, it just seems really like a dumb idea for the longevity of the character. I will. I will push Eric at the creature.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a saving throw for Eric.
Okay.
Okay. Eric squeals like a cat as you push him towards this creature and manages to kind of roll on the side. It distracts the creature a little bit, but he doesn't seem that interested in Eric.
Oh, shit.
He's locked on to the biggest of you, who is Johnson.
Oh, my God.
He seems the most fixated on this big, strong man who's just standing
Oh, man.
about 5 feet from him.
Okay.
So he's going to lunge again for Johnson.
Oh, that's bad. So that was a 20, a natural 20.
That's a natural 20. Johnson gasps and looks like he's about to say something, but he doesn't have time to get it out before these kind of praying mantis-like pincers wrap around the top half, and you hear a sickening crunch. You can see his shoulder contort inward at an awkward angle, like his collarbone is broken, and his chest goes concave at the center.
Oh.
He goes, and while no blood comes out, A thin white foam erupts from his nose and mouth.
Oh no.
His pupils fix and dilate. And the creature lifts him up off the ground and continues to crush him.
Okay. What's next? Do I have a move?
You have a move now. For really quick, I just want to see one thing. Annie is paralyzed and shaking in fear. Eric, you've thrown onto the ground. Mm-hmm. I know what Tony's doing. I'm going to leave that be.
Okay. At this point, someone in the party is like deathly in danger. I don't know enough about like the foaming or anything to be like, are they already like? Is it too late to go?
You can do a knowledge check to see if you know if he's alive or not.
Oh, let's do a knowledge check.
Okay.
6.
You have no idea if he's alive or not. You can see his body is twitching, but you don't know if that means he's in pain. Like, you have not a clue in the world. All you can see is that his jaw is slack, foam is running down his face, and his eyes are fixed and dilated.
How big is this creature? Like,
this creature is taller than a person, like an adult man, but its legs are like crouched, so you're not sure how tall it could get if it straightened up. You just don't know.
Okay. I guess while it has Johnson.
Yes.
In its clutches.
Johnson Tim.
I'm going to try and kick it in its proverbial balls. I'm 14 years old.
So it's underbelly. You're going to kick it inside underbelly.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to give me a combat check, which you're at +3. No, because you're not using the knife. So
yes, I'm not using the knife.
So you're using your base.
Yes.
Which is at a -1.
It's not 0?
You're filled with dread.
Okay, yeah.
You are still filled with dread. Okay. All right. You swing back your foot, and you kick with all your might into the center of the underside of this creature.
Uh-huh.
You connect, and immediately it pops like a balloon.
What?
White, pale pus billows out of its underside, flooding onto the carpet with a sickening squish noise.
Oh.
The thing makes a quiet noise, not loud enough to be a scream, but like a squeal of air escaping. And it collapses onto its side and releases Johnson.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You immediately realize it's dead, relief fills you, and the sense of dread begins to dissipate.
Okay.
So your
dread is gone.
So
that's good.
So your dread is gone.
Cool. So then, in that case, we need to check on Johnson. Like, bad. So I would like to inspect Johnson's wounds.
Okay. So, give me a healing because you do have... You didn't say you had a first aid kit?
Yeah, I have. I have an inhaler.
I'm going to give you a +1. to healing, which I can apply to a bunch of things. Okay. All right, so 17. You kneel down besides Johnson. Everybody else is joining you. Annie is making a high-pitched, like, kind of sucking noise. Eric is just braced on the ground, and Tony is just standing in the doorway, like leaning against the doorway, staring at all of you with a completely blank expression. You kneel down beside Johnson, and you can see he's still moving his mouth, but no sound is coming out. So you see he's clearly not dead, but he doesn't seem to be moving any other part of his body.
Okay. Maybe he's paralyzed. We have to get him to the hospital right away.
Are you going to try to move him?
I'm going to ask anyone if they have a cell phone on them.
All of them shake their head, like no one has a cell phone with them right now. They didn't want to take cell phones with them. They didn't want to lose them.
That's fair. Okay. Okay. So then, was it Tony? No, Johnson was the one that organized it. No, Tony was the one that was aware of this.
Yes.
I looked at Tony. Tony, what should we do?
Tony looks at you and shakes his head really slowly and says, I don't think there's anything we can do at this point.
What do you mean? We didn't walk in that far. Like we can still like make our way out through the gift shop.
Johnson's arm reaches up and grabs you by the wrist and holds onto you tightly. You look down at him, and he pulls himself up just a little bit to get close to you. His eyes are very, very serious. They're watering at the edges, and it doesn't even look like he's fully seeing you. He leans in close to you and hisses out quietly, "Get out." Then a large, foaming bubble protrudes from his mouth, pops, and he collapses, motionless to the floor. It is very clear at this point that he is not breathing.
Okay. I look to my remaining 4 party members,
There's 3 of them now.
and I say, well, I've had enough of fun for one day. I think it's time to go get some help.
Annie has started to cry. She's kneeling by Johnson just with her head down and just crying like she doesn't know what to do. Eric looks at you and says, "Somebody does need to go get help, but we can't just leave him here like this."
It's not like he's going to stand up and start walking around possessed like from a fish creature. We can leave him here.
Annie starts sobbing all the more and just shakes her head. She's not going to leave him.
Okay. Annie, would you like to stay here and watch over them while we go get help?
She looks at you with frantic eyes. She's, "You're going to leave me here alone?"
We have to get someone's help. And I think it'd be too dangerous to send just one person. I don't see how we're going to do this without splitting the party. I hate this. I'm going to ask Eric's opinion.
Eric?
Yes.
Eric looks at you and goes, "I mean, I'll go and get help if you want to, but I'm not the fastest at riding bikes."
All right, Eric. Listen. I'll stay here with Annie. Pulls out my knife. A way to defend ourselves. You need to go and get help and bring them here as quick as possible, okay?
Eric nods. He goes, "Okay, I'll be back as soon as I can."
And Eric,
Yeah.
if you do this, if you can do this, no one will call you a baby man ever again.
He looks, he goes, and very quietly he goes, "I sure as hell hope not, because I pissed my pants back there." Without another word, he turns and starts booking it through the room towards the exit.
We are so fucked.
Do you want to take a short break to get
Yes,
drinks?
absolutely.
How are we doing, guys?
How's it going, chat? Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show so far.
Let me see how many cards we have left to go through.
We have gone through like...
We have 9 more to go through.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to hit the head real quick. I'd love a drink, or you can vamp to chat.
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone who's taken the time to come in and join us on our first weekly D&D stream. Let's take a look at who we've got here. Let's see. Osivera and Lasagna, thanks for hanging out and listening here for a while. What do you guys think so far? We're still learning a lot more about our format and what we're doing. So all of the advice is really, really valuable. I want to thank BKDBK for the follow about an hour ago. Thank you so much. And while we wait, I will make us some quick drinks. Hopefully everyone had a real nice Halloween and is enjoying the spookiness. So, of course, only drink alcohol if you're over the age of 21. Where we're making some V8 Splash watermelon cherry with a little bit of vodka.
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back.
Oh, I have alcohol, my favorite.
You do have alcohol. I'm just going to take a quick restroom break for myself.
Fantastic. You already thanked everyone for being here?
I did, and I thanked our follows. I asked for advice and things like if anything's going well or have any suggestions. We would love to feedback.
Yeah, thank you especially for Lasagna, who was our first viewer for this nonsense. We really appreciate that, and participation has been wonderful. Yay, participation! If there's anything you guys would like to see us do or not do, we're happy to do that as well. So, would you guys like a preview of what I'm going to be doing? I'm guessing you did. So, this is the next card I drew. As you can see, it's a really cool card. Now, I don't think this card is going to end up being an enemy, but we'll see how Priest plays it, because part of that's definitely up to him. So, here's my little hint to you as to what is coming up. Once I've done that, I have this many more cards left to go. Not many. We've already gone through. This will be my 6th card. We're going to play that pretty quick. So, and that's about right. So we're going to actually doing the playing for about an hour. So that's about right. We're about on par for 2.5 hours. So get excited. Hello.
Hello.
Do you feel
I have returned.
Do you feel ready?
I feel refreshed. I've got my drink. So far, man, what an intense campaign already.
I didn't see this campaign being set in a cursed aquarium, but here we are.
Oh yeah.
And I know where we're going next.
Okay.
So Eric has run off at this point.
Yes, Eric has run off to try and get help.
You are standing by Johnson, who is very clearly deceased at this point.
Yes.
And Annie's quietly just kneeling and weeping next to him. Mm-hmm. Tony is standing in the doorway looking at you, really calmly, but he looks completely in shock as to everything that's just happened. Do you need another tissue, by the way?
I was just going to use this orange thing.
Sure, but actually use it, okay?
Yes.
And Tony takes a step forward. Mm-hmm. Annie looks up at him and goes, "What the fuck is going on? Why did you take us here? Did you know? Did you know this place was this fucked?" And Tony goes, "Not this fucked. Not this fucked."
Well, we need to at least wait until Eric comes back with help. So what are we going to do? How are we going to ride this out?
"I don't think we wait," he says quietly. "There's someone we need to go talk to."
Someone? Someone lives here?
He looks at you and kind of goes, "I don't know that she lives here, but I know where she is."
Okay. Who is this person?
He opens his mouth like he's going to say something to you, but he shuts it again and goes, "Come on, she'll tell you whatever she wants to tell you. We need you to just go there."
Why should we even trust you at this point?
And he kind of agrees with you on this and looks at him and goes, "Because you're in this place now, and you've never been here before, and you don't know what's going on. You don't understand the kind of shit we're in. I don't even know that Eric's going to be able to get back into this place. Something you have to understand. Once you start fucking around in here, once you start making noise and screaming, once the jellyfish start getting all fucked up, things move. Things shift. There's a damn good chance that the exit isn't where it used to be anymore. But I always know where she's going to be. So I think we need to go see her."
What? How does that even make any sense?
"I don't know," he says. I've been here a bunch of times before, and I realize as long as I stay quiet, everything's fine. And it's actually kind of a cool place to go. It's like my own private little playground. But it's always been... She told me when I first came that I was fine if I was here as long as I was quiet, as long as I was silent.
Okay.
And I was only loud once. He gets very, very quiet. He says, it took me almost all day to find my way out. I was scared I wouldn't.
Okay. Sounds like we don't have any other choice.
That's kind of what I'm saying, he says. Annie still looks to the both of you and goes, I don't want to leave Johnson. Someone has to stay with him. I'm gonna need you to, do you want her to try to go with you?
I'm nervous to split the party even further, honestly.
Then I'm gonna need you to do a persuasion check.
Okay.
Your persuasion is +6. You're very convincing.
Annie?
Give me a roll, and then we'll see how persuasive it is.
Okay.
You try it again. Okay.
6 + 6.
Yeah. Tell me what you say to her.
Annie, if we leave someone here alone with Johnson and something like that thing comes back, we can't work together to stop it.
She's really reluctant to believe you, but she hears the logic in what you're saying. And she goes, but if we leave him here, something could get him.
If we leave him here and something gets him, we'll get him back.
She believes you. She still is very uneasy, and she wipes her eyes on the back of her hand and goes, okay, fine. But if something happens to him, I'm counting on you to get him back, and I will never fucking forgive you if you don't.
I understand. The door is off the hinges at this point.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do to try and, like, block the door in any way?
Like the exit door?
The door to the janitor's closet.
No. That, unless you want to, like, lean the door back up against it, but I don't think that would do much good.
I'm thinking, like, small critters, kind of like rat kind of things, getting towards him.
No, like, not a thing you can do.
Okay. Then, at that point, I think there's the only thing we can left to do is to push on forward.
All right. Tony nods to both of you. You both stand up and goes, okay, follow me. Move fast, move quiet.
Okay.
He leads you back up the hall to the entrance, and sure enough, as you reach the entrance, you notice that where you expect there to be an entrance and a door, there's just a flat wall. Mm-hmm. The gift shop is no longer there. When you pull out your map to check, the map itself no longer has the gift shop where it was before.
Oof. Okay, so the map changes too.
But that's good,
Yes.
because you realize that means the map will always indicate to you the layout of the place in its new configuration.
Yes.
However, when you look at the map, you do not see any sign of an exit.
Okay.
In fact, one of the only things that seems to have not moved is the administrative office.
That seems weird.
Do you want to point this out to Tony, or
Yes.
keep it to yourself?
Let's keep it to myself, actually. Okay. I don't necessarily trust Tony at this point.
Okay. Tony continues leading you as if nothing's happened. Annie notices that things have changed around, and you can see fear in her face, but she kind of swallows it down and shakes it off and continues following Tony. Tony leads you down past the museum exhibits and up a small set of stairs to an unmarked black door, and you recognize this is the location of the administrative offices.
Interesting.
He holds up a hand for you to stop and says, look, she's not really friendly. She's a little weird.
Okay.
She doesn't seem to, like, treat children different than adults, and she doesn't really seem to, like, understand that this place is dangerous or that children are here. She just doesn't really care. She doesn't seem like most adults.
Mm-hmm.
So just try not to be weird, I guess.
I assure you, I am one of the least weird people I know.
Okay, you're gonna need to make a persuasion check on that shit.
9.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Thank you. Sorry about your playing that.
Okay.
Is it actually, or are you mad?
I'm disappointed, but it's okay.
Well, luckily,
Yeah,
there's
we'll be
no, there actually doesn't seem to be any moisture. Is this thing waterproof?
okay. The play mats are made with pretty good quality.
No, like seriously, there's not any sign of it. Is it?
It might be.
Is this waterproof?
It's Ultra Pro.
Bro, hey, that's.
Ultra Pro products.
No, seriously, touch.
It really does feel actually great.
Yeah, like most of it got on my titties. And this one card, which. That's it. Okay.
Well, we'll put it in the bar cube or something.
Well, also it's a token.
Yeah.
So, if that helps, this is a token.
Yeah.
So, I'll put this over here.
Did that one get kind of splashed too?
No.
Okay.
It was in my hand.
Okay. Cool.
Like, it was just that card and my tits. And it really did get on to me, mostly. And honestly, I just happened to hit it on the back of my hand
Yay.
when I was trying to put it down. Take this from me.
I will take it.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. So,
I'm not used to having my tits this big.
I'm so upset for you.
I can tell.
So,
Yes, so. Just be cool.
yeah, we got this.
He raises his hand and he knocks on the door very softly.
Mm-hmm.
For a moment, there's silence. And then from within, you hear a voice say, "What? What do you want?" And he goes, ma'am, it's me. I'm gonna just put this in my lap so I'll absorb. It's me. I have some friends here with me, and we're kind of in trouble. Even from the other side of the door, you can hear an exasperated sigh. Then the sound of feet marching to the door. The door swings open abruptly and loudly, revealing a strange-looking woman.
Mm-hmm.
She has large, thick-rimmed glasses, and she has a swath of very curly hair pulled back by a golden hairband.
Oh, interesting.
She has thick-set lips that are pulled back in this kind of sarcastic sneer. And as she looks at you, it's with this exacting gaze, as if she's sizing you up.
Okay.
She looks at you and Annie without much interest, and then looks back at Tony and goes, "What, did you make noise?" He goes, "I mean, yeah, but also, there was this thing, this, like, black thing, and it hurt one of my friends. It killed him." She looks completely unsympathetic, but kind of slowly nods and goes, Oh, I think you better come in my office." You enter her office, and on the desk, you see a large set of test tubes and beakers that look completely out of place in the otherwise modern office.
Okay.
There's a motivational poster on the wall. There's a bookcase lined with documents about marine mammals.
Mm-hmm.
And on the front of the desk is a simple golden placard that identifies Zimone.
Ah. Okay.
So you assume that this is her.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, Zimone is the friendly Magic the Gathering scientist kind of character that we were featured in a small short for.
Yeah. In this case, she's very science forward and is not terribly interested in children
Okay.
being here to bother her, which I think is reasonable.
Okay.
By the way, this is...
Come on, pretty good. Yeah, hey, the foiling process seemed to kind of make it a little
Well,
more...
also I
efficient.
did clean it up
Yeah.
really quick, so...
Very nice.
Hooray! Over here with you. So, for later. She shuts the door behind you and turns around and goes, "Okay, can you explain to me what exactly got your friend?"
Well, it was this big crouching creature that seemed to be nautical. It wasn't very strong, but it picked up our friend Johnson, right?
Johnson.
And with its almost like praying mantis feelers, lifted in the air, and with a single strike made him foam out the mouth and pass.
She kind of nods, goes, ah. Yeah, I've seen those things. And of course things are nautical here. I mean, it's an aquarium.
Makes sense.
You have to understand, she explains. When you come into certain areas of the whole time continuum, things tend to kind of stick in their own environment. Mm-hmm. In this little pocket that the door leads to, this area has a lot of nautical themed stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So what you're going to end up getting is a lot of sea creatures and weird, creepy stuff like that. It's not all that very strong, as long as it's not in water, and I've mostly drained this place of water over the years to make it a little easier to navigate. Well, except for the jellyfish.
Why the jellyfish?
She shrugs because, well, I'm doing some interesting work with them, and they seem to generate a lot of energy, and I think I can maybe use that to open a door back into one of the other areas. A different room, if you would.
A different room?
Tony looks at you and just says, I don't always understand it either, but from what she tells me, there are different rooms. Like little pocket dimensions or something. And the aquarium is one of those.
Got it. So in Magic the Gathering, it's just like planeswalking.
Annie gives you the iciest stare ever and says, you're talking about that fucking game. Our friend is dead. We're in the offices of some strange lady who doesn't seem to give a shit. They're talking about pocket dimensions, and you want to talk about Magic the Gathering.
I don't know. Maybe I mean, there's a really nice table in here. I've got 2 decks in my backpack. We can just sit down and wait for this whole thing to blow over.
So Zimone kind of laughs and goes, ha, that's not going to happen. You can't really wait for things to happen here. You have to go after them. You have to get them to do what you want them to do.
Okay.
Sometimes that means poking and prodding. Sometimes it's experimentation. I already understand a lot how this specific room works, but I still haven't been able to get out of it. And part of it is just, I can't cover enough ground. So, look, I'll tell you what. I can't help your friend. Not really. Unless somehow his spirit has passed on to a different room in which spirits still live. You could try to get into a different room, but you might never get back. On the other hand, if you help me out, if you look around here, find out some things for me, maybe you can help me get into a different room and I can then get you out safely.
Okay, but wait, we sent our friend Eric ahead to try and find help.
She paused. She goes, he might have gotten out before the shift, but he might not have. He might just be in a totally other area of this place. Hell, he could be in a different room altogether. I'm not sure.
Well, that's bad.
Tony looks and goes, I told you it's probably no use.
Okay, well,
one thing I can tell you, it seems to respond to noise. If you
Okay.
make a lot of really loud noise, it's like it makes things shift. I think that has something to do with the jellyfish. I think they make it shift.
okay.
But when it shifts, sometimes you end up in places you don't want to be. I've ended up inside a broken aquarium before and had to beat my way out.
Why, if the jellyfish are making us shift, why do we want to keep the jellyfish alive?
Because they're my only way out of this place. And right now, they're your only way out of this place, too.
Fair. Okay. Well, then maybe the jellyfish need a gift, like a meal, in order to shift us out of here.
Yeah, they don't seem terribly hungry, she says, tapping her face. I mean, they'll eat each other if they die. That seems to be how they just exist. But honestly, they don't ever seem to get hungry or tired or bored or old. I mean, some jellyfish are technically immortal if you do the research on it.
Yeah.
I think these ones are kind of like that. They look similar to moon jellyfish, but they don't behave the same way at all.
I'm not gonna actually with the scientist.
About moon jellies?
Yeah.
What about moon jellies?
Nothing.
What do you know about moon jellies?
No, I don't know anything about moon
I know about moon jellies. Come at me.
I know you know about moon jellies. I'm trying to figure out whether it'd be funny for Arnold to like
Actually her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian David Garrett.
So let's instead say, well, what can we do? Like, is there anywhere that we can go to try and make another shift happen in a good way?
Well, I've had some luck other places. Besides the jellyfish being able to shift you when there's interesting sounds, if you go over towards the penguin exhibit, there seems to be a cave in there that if you go through it, drops you out in another part of the aquarium. And it's kind of random where it does.
Interesting.
That could get you near an exit if you want to try it.
Okay.
You could also go over to where the otters were. They're in the same general vicinity. The otters is just this big old pit. It's kind of this abyss. I've lowered a rope down there, and there doesn't seem to be a bottom to it. So God knows what's down there. It could also lead you to someplace different. But I wouldn't think it's a door to any other place. I don't think it's probably to another room.
Okay.
So it's up to you what you want to try.
I think we go with the penguins then. I mean, if we go to some random spot in the aquarium, worst case is we just go back to the penguins, right?
She tips her head. It doesn't seem like you can go back once you're there. A lot of this seems to be like one-way areas.
Well, that's not good.
Tony looks at you and goes, I've tried this stuff before, and like I said, it's fun as long as you're not making noise and you can just explore. I haven't had to run in with anything really bad, maybe like some little rats or beetles or stuff I could step on. Nothing like that thing.
Okay.
But from what I can tell, this place is definitely under some kind of curse, and I don't know what caused it. Simone nods and goes, yeah, that's kind of my read on things too. From what I can tell, something is cursing this place, and I'm not sure whose fault, if it's some overarching great being, or if there was a creature that was kept here against its will and it's cursed its sense. Hell, it could still be here. That's the big risk.
Well, let's check. Do we still have the grimoire?
You do have the grimoire.
I say, well, wait, will any of this help? Handing the book over to Simone.
Her eyes flash with joy. Where in the hell did you get that?
A closet with our dead friend.
She weighs this and goes, well, would you be willing to let me look over this? I'm sure it might have some answers, but at the same time, items like this tend to have a lot of power associated with them, and they'll summon other creatures to them. Considering the administrative office is the only thing that doesn't seem to move, if I look at it here, they'll be able to find me really easily. But if I go out and wander a little bit, read and walk at the same time, I think I'll be able to get through it without anything messing with me.
Well, then why don't we go to the penguins, and while we go, let's look at the book.
I don't think that's such a good idea, she says.
Why?
This is something I'd rather do alone. I have the ability to get out of these sorts of situations. I know this place. If I have to watch after all of you guys, that makes it a bit more of a problem. Plus, if they're coming after me while I read, that gives you a little bit more time to figure out what you need to do, doesn't it?
Well, to us, it sounds like you have no incentive to really help us.
Like I said, if you get me some more information, that's great for me.
This
Plus,
is the information.
Not that kind of information. Look, I can give you the book back if you want, but it's not going to help you.
Okay.
Like I said, if I start reading this book, it's going to summon creatures towards me. Do you want me with you when that happens?
No.
Fine, then it's a win-win. You get to go, do a little research for me, find out where things go.
I don't like it, but it makes sense.
Do we have a deal then?
We have a deal.
You find out this information for me? I'll read the book, see what I can find out, see if that can help you get out of here.
Sounds good. But don't leave here without trying to get us out first.
Please, she rolls her eyes. I wouldn't do that.
I believe you.
Besides, next place I go, God only knows what's going to be behind that door. I want to find out as much as I can before I turn that knob.
Makes sense.
Well, she stands up. Then I hereby dub you Phenomenon Investigators under my command.
Ooh. Who are we going to call? That's cool.
All right, so because you're now Phenomenon Investigators, I'm going to say that grants you a +1 to perception specifically.
Okay.
So I'm going to give your perception a +1, making you a +5 for perception.
Hey, let's
exciting!
go.
All right, so you're going to set off towards the penguin exhibit?
Yeah, let's look at the map and try and figure out the safest path from point A to point B.
You open up the map with Tony, who seems absolutely bewildered that this map is showing the accurate layout. Annie still seems kind of despondent, like she's kind of dissociating from all of this. Like it doesn't feel real to her. But she kind of glances over at the map and kind of nods. You can see from the administrative office, you go down the stairs and then you curve around the side to the right some more. There's a branch in the road there. The path that goes left goes to the otters, right to the penguins. They're in a very similar area.
Okay.
It looks like a straight shot. The only exhibits along the way are small info booths that talk about pollution.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you want to have Tony lead the way, or do you want to talk to Tony about it? See what he thinks.
Well, Tony, what do you think? The otters or the penguins?
Well, I mean, you thought about the penguins, but I mean, I've crawled through there before, and it is the way I eventually got out that one time I got lost.
Sounds like the best chance to us. Besides, the otter pit just sounds like a pit to nowhere, right? There's no way that we'll be able to get out of whatever that is if we try going down into it.
He shrugs. I don't exactly know how all of this works. We're in almost uncharted territory for me now, too. I was just hoping to bring you in, go through a door and look at some jellyfish and then leave. I didn't know it would do all this. You gotta believe me on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know my dad said that he jumped into a pit once and some guy broke his nose. So I don't want to try the pit unless I absolutely have to.
Annie gives you a side eye, shakes her head, and just lets it go.
All right.
Simone gives you a wave and she goes, all right, I'm headed towards the jellyfish. Just to let you know, I'm going to go there, walk around. If you need to find me again, head back to the administrative office and stay there. From what I can tell, things can't really get inside easily, so if you have to barricade the door, push the desk against it, okay?
Perfect.
Just don't break anything.
I cannot promise that.
She rolls her eyes and says, try not to break anything.
That I can promise.
Fine, semantics. Anyway, I'll see you back here eventually. Don't get killed or anything. And she waves and just starts to walk away.
I don't want to die. All right, then in that case, I will lead the group since I have the map, and I can watch to see if a face changes.
As you start to walk away,
Okay.
she turns and goes, oh, wait a second. I have something that can help you.
Oh.
She steps back in her office. When she comes out, she goes, this is for you, and gives you something that looks like a radio, or maybe a very old phone.
Interesting.
And she says, this thing will make a very soft clicking noise whenever a creature is nearby.
Okay.
Problem is, when it makes clicking noises, it attracts creatures. So, double-edged sword, I know, but if you think a creature is nearby, it could help you figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Sounds good. Is it on right now?
Nope, it's my own invention. There's a wheel on the side. You spin it, it turns on.
Makes sense.
Okay, well that's that. Bye! And she passes you an entity tracker.
Yay. Very cool.
Alright, what does it do? Tell the folks.
Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, draw a card.
Cool.
Plenty of stuff for rooms.
Well, this is something you can turn on and turn off at whim. It is now in your inventory.
Okay. I'll add it to here.
Cool. Alright, you're going to head towards the penguins, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So, you follow the path up slightly, past all of the info booths, talking about how straws kill sea turtles, and how you have to cut the little rings that attach to sodas, otherwise they'll strangle turtles and, basically destroy the wildlife.
Makes sense.
Good stuff. Stuff you've heard all your life since you were young.
Absolutely.
Except it seems like all of the drawings of the creatures that are being harmed in these info ads have been defaced with marker to have no eyes. Which is a little distressing to you, you're not going to lie.
Very normal. Very acceptable.
Very, very good in their lane, thriving.
Yes.
Do you want to point that out to anyone or just keep walking?
I'm going to do this kind of... This sure is weird. Sure don't like this.
Tony looks at them and goes, oh, yeah. I did that the second year I was here. I didn't like them looking at me.
Second year?
Yeah. I told you, I come here all the time. When I was like 12, that's when I did this.
Understood. Okay. Well, how long were you in here at a given time?
Well, he kind of looks at Annie, thinks about it, goes, hey, remember that one weekend I, went missing for a day and I told you I was at a friend's house and I fell asleep? She kind of goes, yeah, and he goes, well, actually I was here. It was, I guess, 24 hours. It felt like longer, but it was 24 hours or so.
Okay, so we might have some time distortion a little bit. Okay.
He's honestly not sure.
Okay.
So. But anyway, follow me. We're almost there.
Okay.
So he brings you to the fork in the road, and there's a sign that says otters and a sign that says penguins.
Okay. I'd like to do just a visual inspection of the area to see if there's any, claw marks, any noticeable trails.
Do you want to use your entity tracker?
Not yet.
All right, then give me a perception check.
I've gotten 11.
Cool. That smell that you smelled in the depths is lighter here, but you can smell it's a little bit more strongly coming from the otters.
Okay.
The penguins, there's this kind of more earthy smell in a very unpleasant way. Not oceany, but more like fertilizer. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see a faint light shining in the distance. It feels a little bit like daylight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then let's head towards the otters.
The otters?
I'm sorry?
The otters?
No, sorry, the penguins.
I'm ready. Let's transition. Let's go to the otters. I'm ready.
No. Let's go to
right.
the penguins.
Okay. You follow Tony up around, and it turns and stops at a small amphitheater that seems like tiered steps covered in carpet.
Okay.
There's a large, what once was a glass pane there, and beyond it what you assume was a moat and some area for the penguins. At this point, it looks almost soupy and muddy.
Mm-hmm.
What once were maybe wires stick up out of it looking like branches.
Mm-hmm.
And the fake atmosphere and rocks are caked with dark green and white sludge. And you realize that what you're looking at is not the Rocky, it's not the aquarium anymore. You're beholding a putrid swamp made up in large part of penguin feces.
Oh.
And if you ever smelled penguin feces, let me tell you guys, they fucking suck.
Woof. Okay.
Beyond that, though, you can make out the shape of what looks like a small cave. Probably where the penguins went in and out to a safe place to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are at this swamp.
Ooh, okay. Pretty swamp. Still, though, is there any sign of life that we can tell?
Perception. Give me a perception.
19.
You can tell that something has been alive here recently. There are tracks in the sludge that seem to go towards the opening, but they don't look super fresh.
Okay.
Like, it's happened recently, but it's not like it happened today. Mm-hmm. It's dried a little bit into, like, this awful cakey grossness. The smell is so strong, Annie, by the way, is covering her face and just kind of, like, dry heaving. It is such an awful smell. Mm-hmm. Tony seems unfazed, like he's obviously been here before, as he said.
Okay. Well, Tony, you've been here before. What do we do next?
He sighs. He goes, well, you walk through the sludge and you crawl through that opening. It's kind of hard to do without getting your knees all muddy, but once you get through, it opens up and it's not like that anymore.
How deep is it?
It's a sludge?
Yeah.
If you stay towards the left side, there seems to be like a flat area that maybe that's where the workers used to be, and it can get you there. If you go through the center, I don't know how deep it is. It just seems to go down and down and down.
Gotcha. And is there anything still in there?
I don't think so. I haven't stepped into it before, but like it doesn't seem to move or anything, or it sees. I don't know what could live in there.
I like to look around to see if there's anything like scared about any debris or.
You already checked.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think there's anything else to do but kind of head to the area that Tony indicated that seems safe to cross.
All right. You want to let Tony lead the way?
Yes.
All right. Tony leads you around the corner of the exhibit once you're through the broken glass. You can feel the muck rising up to your ankles and seeping into your shoes, so that it kind of like sucks down on you every time you move. Annie makes a quiet whimpering noise as it almost sucks off one of her sneakers.
Gross.
You follow him.
Does she need a saving throw to recover the sneaker?
No, she almost does. Just
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
I'm not making Annie a damsel in distress. You're fine.
Okay.
You kind of come up onto this platform. You can feel the muck get a little shallower, but the smell is just so strong it's hard not to vomit. You doing okay?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay. You head towards the opening, and you find yourself looking through it, and you think you can see something on the other side. It's not pitch black. It looks almost like some sort of weird locker room with cages. And so you're standing right now at the entrance of this cave, and on one side of you is this bottomless pool of muck. On the other side is a locker room.
Okay. A bottomless pool of muck, and on the other side is a locker room. Can we just say, this pack, a lot of blue in it. This is working out very well.
Yeah, it seems to know that I was doing this today, which is pretty neat.
Okay. So, well, we came here for the cave. My fear with the bottomless pool is that if we try to irritate it or throw something down it or to interact with it, we could awaken something.
And that's the muck behind you that you've now skirted around it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the only thing left to do is to try and use the cave to hit somewhere randomly.
Okay. Do you want to go first? Do you want to suggest someone else go first? Also, do you need a moment?
What?
Do you need a moment?
To
You look uncomfortable.
blow my nose, yeah.
Yeah. Yay, being sick. Concrete.
Okay. So I'm thinking if we have Tony explain what we're going to feel, what the sensation is like, then it's going to reduce the chance that we may scream going into the cave.
So, what do you want to do?
I want to ask Tony. Okay, so what should we expect? What's this going to be like?
Kind of shrugs and goes, I don't know. It's wet and gross. You go through the cave and then you enter this kind of like weird little like cage chamber. And you go through the cage and you open the door. And the moment you step through that door, you're someplace else.
Okay.
And you can't really go back. Like once you look back, the room is just empty.
Okay. I volunteer to lead the way then. I'm going to click on my flashlight.
Okay, your flashlight's not on.
That's fair. And let's lead the way through the cave.
Okay, you're gonna go first.
Yes.
You're pulling yourself through the muck into the room. You can feel the squish as it seeps into your pants, and the smell is just rising up until you can almost taste it in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's under your hands, and you kind of try to brace your hands on either side of the tunnel itself, but it's hard to get purchased without putting a hand directly down into that muck.
Yeah.
It's only maybe 2 feet of tunnel before you're into this little kind of cage area, which you assumed was to hold penguins.
Mm-hmm.
The cage is open, and you're easily able to step into kind of a locker room where food was kept, and maybe the keepers also kept some of their possessions.
Okay.
So So you make it through, you stand up, and you look back, and Annie and Tony both scramble after you, and you can see that there are tears on Annie's face. She is not doing okay. She is just following as best she can.
I would like to inspect the lockers for any type of food, sustenance, or like basically what I'm hoping is maybe there's like a candy bar or something there there that we can give to Annie.
Give a roll.
Because it sounds like Annie needs some morale boost.
Okay.
16.
Hot damn. You kind of press one of the lockers and it pops open. I'm going to use your manifest here. You asked for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're getting specifically a candy bar. So there was manifest.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else on the other side. I'm not going to show you what's on the other side.
Okay.
But you got manifest, so you've manifested a candy bar. You've now used this up. I was waiting for you to actually use it.
Okay.
And you find a Kit Kat bar.
All right. I'd be like, hey, Annie, check it out. Look what we found.
She looks at the Kit Kat bar and she goes, how old is that?
I don't know. It smells...
You cannot smell anything but penguin shit at this point. There's nothing but penguin shit in your entire existence.
It looks like a better shade of brown.
She kind of wrinkles her nose but goes, thank you for that, Arnold, and takes it from you. You've at least distracted her from crying.
I'm always looking out for you, Annie.
She looks at Tony and she goes, you have weird friends. Tony goes, yeah, but I'm weird, so it makes sense. And she goes, that's fair. Look, can you just... Where do we go now? Tony points towards a door.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be an employee door.
Okay. I would like to inspect the map to see what this door looks like on the map. Like,
All right.
what its area looks like on the map.
You pull up the map, and all you see on it is a single room. And it's the room you're in.
Interesting.
There's nothing else. The whole thing is just kind of nebulous darkness.
Hey, guys, check out the map.
Tony looks over and kind of shies away and goes, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I'm not saying that going into the room is a bad idea, but why would it do this? It's like the entire world disappeared when we came into this room.
Well, like I said, the room kind of disappears when you look back at it afterwards, and I don't really recommend looking back at it, frankly. It gives me the creeps, it's like the whole room suddenly is static. You can kind of feel it.
Interesting. Maybe something like the world doesn't make the room exist until we actually see it.
Either that or we exist outside of the world until we open that door.
Schrodinger's door.
What?
Schrodinger's door.
Schrodinger?
Schrodinger's door.
Schrodinger's.
Schrodinger's?
Yeah, not Schrodinger's.
How do you actually say it?
Schrodinger's.
Schrodinger's. Okay.
Yeah.
Schrodinger's door. All right.
Schrodinger's. I was very confused. I was like, what?
Hey, sometimes you only read certain words. Chat, back me up here. Sometimes you only read certain words, and you never know the way they're said until you say it to someone that is an expert and immediately corrects you.
It's either Schrodinger's or Schrodinger's, but it's not Schrodinger's. I'm sure of that.
Okay.
All right.
So, my thought now, knowing this, is we have this door. I'm wondering what happens if we open it and then close it. We don't actually go through it.
Tony looks at you and goes, look, I told you, it's like the moment you open that door, the room behind you becomes just empty static. It really gives me the creeps. Like, you can feel the static breathing on your neck. I don't know if you want that.
But we have to try something.
We could just go through the door, Annie says, like we were planning to. See where we end up.
Okay, well, fair enough. We'll try just going through the door, but if something bad happens, I want to be able to know that we have other options too.
What? Like what?
Like, no, never coming to this aquarium in the first place.
Both of you look at Tony, and he kind of sighs and he goes, I just wanted to show you the cool jellyfish.
That's fair. And the jellyfish are pretty cool.
Thanks, man.
All right, let's open the door. I'm assuming I'm going to need a roll for something.
Nope.
No? I'm just going to open the door?
You open the door. On the other side, you see what looks like a rocky seashore exhibit.
Okay.
Like it once maybe held tidal pools or places where you could touch fish and manta rays.
Okay.
All of it's silent now, but you can still see like the fake shells set into the rocks against the walls and a large empty pool that is completely barren and dry except for a thin white powder that looks like salt.
Okay. Is the door handle still in my hand?
The door handle's still in your hand.
If I look back, what do I see? Do I see my friends?
Do you want to look back?
I think I would like to say gently, before looking back, guys?
Tony says, yeah, what are you waiting for?
What do you see on the other side?
It's the seashore exhibit. It's out. It's one of the rooms closest to the ocean. There's like sunlight there and shit.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all going to the same place and the door doesn't separate all of us.
I suppose that makes sense why you'd be worried about that. Annie says, yeah, I'm here too. We're fine.
All right, let's go.
You're going to walk through the door without looking back?
Yes.
Okay. You step outside the door, and you go to close it. And I need you to roll for initiative. Okay.
I got an 11.
I got 4.
Okay.
You pull the door like it's going to shut, but it doesn't go all the way.
Okay.
It's like something stops it. You look down and you go, it gives. And it looks like there's a series of blue and red wires sticking out of the door, keeping it from closing all the way. Except they're shifting and flickering.
Mm-hmm.
And in your head, you sense more than hear the sound of static. Just like Tony said.
Mm-hmm.
You look over to him briefly and you can see he's holding his head like this in his hand, like he's in pain. Annie seems uneasy too, but Tony seems to actually be feeling something. He breathes, it's just like before. And then the door is torn backwards, open.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of you, you see a humanoid shape, or maybe 2 humanoid shapes that are constantly blending and unblending with each other, tearing in and out of each other. Except for 2 sets of glowing white eyes which constantly realign themselves to be one. They lock onto you, and you hear a sound like a TV trying to tune and not finding a channel as its dark mouth opens, aligns, and realigns.
Mm-hmm.
And you are standing before an intruding soul rager.
Oof, okay. So it's got 2 toughness, which means we gotta hit it twice.
Now,
Right.
yeah, you got initiative, so what do you want to do?
It ripped the door back open, right?
Yes, it's standing in the doorway. Behind it is nothing but darkness and static, and it's just standing, looming down at you.
About how many wires are actually in the door? Like, what is...
I said it looked like wires. It wasn't wires. It's this thing.
So, like, I'm trying to estimate, like...
They look like fragments of electricity itself.
Got it. Okay. I was trying to assess, like, if I try to slam the door on the creature, like, could I, like, cut the wires?
Its foot is in the door.
Okay.
That's why you couldn't shut it before.
Well, this hasn't gone poorly for... Well, no, the being could be made of electricity. I'm going to try to stomp on the creature's foot that's in the door.
All right, you can try that. Give me a combat check.
That is a 5.
Do I even have to?
No.
You stomp down as hard as you can, and your foot passes clean through. But you feel kind of this sensation of static shock, like that kind of cling you get on your hair, all down your leg as it passes through.
Oh, okay.
The thing lurches towards you and emits kind of this burst of noise that knocks all three of you back.
Okay.
Tony says, quietly, surprisingly quietly, don't let it touch you.
Okay. I think this means we're in trouble. I'd like to ask Tony, what did you do before to try and deal with this thing?
He shakes his head and says, I didn't. I could feel it. Like I said, it was always right behind me, but I never saw it before. I just don't let it touch you again.
Well, let's run.
Cool. You can absolutely do that. Let's find out what your dex is.
Okay. We got 8. We got 10.
Give me a 10.
Okay.
Because you said you were wiry. You told me that in advance. So.
7.
Cool. All right. I'm going to need you to make a saving throw of dexterity against this creature. Oh.
16.
Baby, you got a 1.
Ooh.
So, you turn and make a mad dash away from this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It lunges out of the door towards you, but it seems like it can't actually pass through the entrance to it.
Ooh.
Long electric static kind of reaches out towards you, trying to pull you back in. You feel it tugging like a magnet on the back of your skull. You feel it in your head. You're dizzy. You're not sure what to do. But you know this thing is just barely holding you in place. It can't reach you. It can't leave this room.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't quite continue running. You're really trying. You can't make your feet go. What do you want to do?
Can't leave the room. And it can't reach us.
Mm-hmm. It can't leave the room. You're outside the room, but it's like a magnet is holding you kind of in place.
Magnet's holding us in place. We can't push it. And it doesn't feel like we're being pulled towards it.
It's just holding in place. Like you're straining against it, but you're in like perfect equilibrium.
I'm trying to think with what our things are. I'm trying to think of different options. Guys, I say, a little help here?
Tony turns around, looks at this thing, eyes wide, and almost as if he doesn't realize what he's doing, he raises a hand towards it and says, "Get back in that room." The thing looks at him, kind of startled, and it's startled just enough where it stops reaching for you, releasing its grip on you for a second. And you feel yourself lurch forward just away from it, and you continue running. Behind you, you hear that sound of a TV tuning again, and then the slamming of a door, and it's gone.
How did you do that?
He looks at you wide-eyed, goes, I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted it to go away, so I told it to go away. I don't know.
Do you have domain here?
Why would I? He says, raising his hands. You like, how in the hell? I could just come back here to look at the cool jellyfish. They're neat. I like them. It's my own like little private hideaway that moves and is weird. And yeah, it's scary, but it still feels like homey to me sometimes. So I just keep coming back here, okay?
Okay.
Annie's watching him. She's like, how often do you come here? And he says, like a couple times a month. Like, not that often. Maybe twice a month at most. Sometimes, some months I don't even come here. It's just really like when I'm feeling down about school, or like I'm upset with not making enough friends, or not getting a spot on the team. I just come here and everything kind of feels peaceful for a while, okay? Everything's quiet.
Got it.
So I don't know. I just wanted him to stop, so I told him to stop. I guess I startled him or something. Is that so weird?
No, it's okay. I'm sure everything's perfectly fine. So my character at this point is developing concerns that perhaps this is Tony's world. This is Tony's domain. He says it hurts his head, and this is something that is feeding off of Tony's thoughts and ideas. At this point, without getting out the map, I would like to say, well, we got here. The creature was pushed away. What are we supposed to do next?
Tony takes a deep breath and he says, well, I know where we are right now. We're in the seashore exhibit. The seashore exhibit is closest to the ocean. One of the options, I suppose, they have an observation deck. They have a door that opens out in the observation deck. It's kind of decrepit and falling into the ocean. But, like, if we wanted to try to jump into the water and swim for shore, we definitely could. And now that we're having, like, a little bit of daylight from, like, early morning, we might actually be able to see where we're going.
Jumping into the water, into the ocean, when these things are coming after us?
I don't know. We can go outside and try to see the outside of the building. We can try to, I don't know, maybe scale it, go over it. He puts his head down and goes, I don't know what to do here, man. I am so lost. And yeah, I know the layout of this place. I know these different rooms, but I don't even know what we're trying to do here anymore. I don't know if we're trying to leave, if we're trying to find wherever Eric went, if he's okay, if we're trying to get Johnson out of here, if we're trying to help Simone. I don't know what we're even doing here anymore, man.
Okay. We should... I'd like Arnold to turn to Annie. Annie, what do you think we should do?
She looks at you like wide-eyed, like, how dare you ask her such a thing, and says, I just want to leave. You said that we'd get Johnson before we go, and it sounds like Simone was heading in that general direction. Now that we know that this door took us somewhere where there's an outside, and we do know that that weird room seems to be outside of place and time somehow. Maybe that's enough for Simone to use to help us?
Maybe. I like that. Okay. Well then, let's look at the map and decide the best way to get back to the janitor's closet.
Okay. Janitor's closet or the administrative office?
The janitor's closet.
The first one.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna go check on Johnson.
Let me check something for you. Good for you. You pull out the map, and you can see that somehow, if you exit this exhibit and turn left, it takes you right down to the central hallway that led you over to where the jellyfish were.
Okay.
It's a real straight shot.
Well, let's head this way then. Let's go check on Johnson. It sounds like if we have the information we need, we can get out of here.
Tony kind of nods and goes, yeah, look, just, hey, can we, like, take a moment first? There's a little bit of daylight here, and I'd like to be able to see some daylight for a second before we go back into the dark, okay?
Okay. But we can't stay here long.
No, I just need to catch my breath.
Understood.
He's more shaken than you've ever seen him.
Okay.
In his life. You are aware that he is really freaked out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to stand for a moment in the exhibit.
Yeah. While we do, I would like to kind of examine the exhibit.
Okay, sure. Give me a perception. Fantastic. Fantastic. Excellent. That's a dirty 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You examine the exhibit, and you see in the midst of the salt, in what might have been like an ocean touch exhibit, there's a large white crystal that seems to be softly radiating light.
Ooh.
It's a very, very pale light. When you get close to it and you reach out to it, it seems to get a little bit brighter at your touch. And as you pick it up, it immediately stops glowing.
Interesting. Hey, Tony, do you still have that UV light?
Dog just snored.
The dog just snored really loud out in the distance.
He goes, yeah. He pulls it out and he shines it over the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
It immediately reacts and leaps to kind of this brilliant fire.
Mm-hmm.
And more than that, seems like wisps fade out of it in the direction you were intending to go.
Ooh. I don't know what this thing is, but it feels good. At this point, let's turn on the entity tracker and begin heading in the direction of the crystal.
Okay, you turn on the entity tracker and you're going to follow this wisp, making you guys glimmer seekers. You guys are going to follow the light of this, and it is going to, you get a sense it's really going to kind of guide you safely in the direction you want to go.
I like that.
Even though you've never held this before, you get the sense that it wants to give you what you want.
Yes.
That there is an actual impetus in this item. There's a desire to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it directs you down the hallway, back towards the jellyfish, and you follow it.
Okay.
Okay. As you walk, do you want to do anything?
Let's just stay quiet, honestly, and try our best to muffle what steps we can. Reason being, we have the entity tracker on, right?
Yes.
So I want to listen very carefully, and if we hear things begin to beep or react, we will turn it off.
Okay. You turn the corner towards the jellyfish, and immediately, even though you can see that blue in the distance, your tracker starts to whine and hiss and pop frequently.
Okay. It might honestly be reacting to the jellyfish, so let's just turn it off.
You turn that off, and as you continue, you hear a strange, like, squeaking and almost sounds like monkeys making trilling noises.
Well, I don't like that.
And above that, you suddenly hear Zamon's voice, not in a yell, but in a kind of elevated sound that says, "Would you guys buzz off? I don't really want to deal with you right now. I don't have time for this."
Oh, no. Sounds like Zamon's in combat.
You come around the corner, and you find Zamon surrounded by 3 small, what looks like aquatic monkeys.
Oh my gosh, sea monkeys.
Rather than hurting her, they're pulling at her pant legs and trying to tear off parts of her clothing and belongings. They look like they're trying to take things from her and run away, and she's swatting them away with the book.
Oh my gosh.
She's trying her best to be quiet. You can see she's speaking between teeth, and she's going, "I don't have time for you."
Okay.
She finally nails one with a book, and it makes a high-pitched little scrap, and shuffles away, and they both go out the employee exit door that you saw before.
Well, that works.
She turns to you and sighs, and she goes, "Oh, it's you." And so you've experienced...
The gremlins.
I've just been experiencing some, she looks around the room, mayhem. But nothing really bad. Apparently this book doesn't attract big bad things, just any nearby bad things. So, we're fine.
Well, great. We learned a few things trying to make our way back to here. We went to the penguin exhibit.
Oh, what did you find out?
Well, when we went through, we were actually attacked by something. Some sort of blue-red electrical creature.
Oh, yes, I know that thing. It exists between worlds. Where did you see that?
It was specifically when we opened the door and tried to close it. It was like it was trying to intrude and get into where we are.
From where?
Between. We noticed that on the map, the room that we were in was disconnected from all the other parts of the aquarium. That room seems like special.
So it doesn't exist in this room. It's its own room. So if I could influence that room to do other things, I could get that room to go where I want. That actually makes sense with this book.
She pats it lovingly.
What this book's been saying is that, yeah, there has been a curse. There was a creature that was brought here a long time ago. It was tried to be kept captive, and it was shown to people, but it unleashed all of its sadness and malice and loneliness into the water. It killed just about everything, except for the jellyfish, because, and she thinks about it, well, I'm not sure why it didn't hurt the jellyfish. But it hurt anyone who was sticking around, too, anything that water touched. So that's what happened here. And I guess some other creatures, it summoned those too to try to, I don't know, be friends with it or something, or maybe protect the jellyfish. I can't quite figure that out.
Like
but according
jellyfish protectors?
But according to this book, it seems like if you take a creature and you make sure that it's captive in a place it doesn't want to be, it'll slowly mold that area to be more like what it wants its home to be. So, I don't know what this creature was, or if it's even still here anymore. But what we're seeing right now is the manifestation of what that creature wanted.
Understood. This is just like my Eldrazi fanfiction.
Jesus fucking Christ. Well, she says with a shrug, based on what I can tell, that means that if you want to get to a way out, all you have to do is go through that room until you have easy access to the front exit. I mean, that's what you did last time, right, kid? And she looks at Tony,
Okay.
who kind of shrugs and goes, I mean, yeah, it seemed to work. She goes, exactly. Plus, this place was never going to hurt you.
Why would this place never hurt Tony?
She kind of looks at you guys and goes, what, you guys didn't know?
No, we don't know, Zimone.
I mean, he's a part of this place.
What do you mean he's a part of this place?
She sighs and says, look, I don't know what you think is going on, but from what I can tell, your friend here and this place have become connected in some capacity.
I see.
Not sure when or how, but even when he first showed up here, he seemed to be able to kind of get whatever he wanted out of this place.
Okay. Then I have a question.
Tony is, by the way, looking at you in just awe and horror, but he doesn't seem like he's surprised by this. He just seems like you can see bits piecing together in his mind just looking at him.
Remind me the name of the character. Oh, it was Johnson, that's right.
Johnson's dead.
Tony, were you mad at Johnson for any reason?
He kind of thinks about it and he goes, No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't like that he's creeping on my sister, but you do it and I don't mind you, so it's not like it's that big a difference. Annie looks at you for a second and looks like she's about to say something, but then shuts up.
What, Annie? What were you going to say?
Nothing. Believe me, nothing.
Sometimes saying nothing at all is the kindest thing that you could say. I can tell that you really appreciate and enjoy my presence, Annie. I'm so happy you're here with us.
Anyway, you were talking to Tony?
Yes, Tony. Tony, have we tried you willing there to be a way out?
He goes, I don't think I've ever tried that. I mean, I've wanted to get out before. And that time I wanted to get out, I did. I don't know if that counts, though.
I see. Is there a reason that you would want to stay here?
I mean, sometimes I do. It's tough, you know? Being a freshman sucks ass. It is so stressful. Everybody's depending on me for grades, and I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I just want to get away from all that, and this place lets me do that.
But you can't hide from your fears. You can't, just because things are tough or you're scared of something doesn't mean that you can hide yourself away from the world.
I mean, doesn't it? For a little while? Isn't that what you do when you play Magic?
No. Magic is well, I'll have to show you about Liliana sometime. But the point is, I'm sorry, that was terrible.
Regain composure.
Okay. Sure, there are some things that can make us feel smart or make us feel safe and distract us every now and then. But if we continually go back and hide ourselves away from the things that scare us and never actually try to address those fears, well, we're not much better than the things that scare us.
Dude, I come here like once or twice a month.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's only on the occasional Friday when all my friends are doing something fun and they don't invite me.
Well then, maybe we should do a better job at inviting you to things.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that.
Did Johnson not invite you to last week's party? We were all asking where
Why
you were.
are you putting Johnson's death onto me? I didn't want that. Why would I fucking want that?
I'm just trying to make sense of all of this.
Look, whatever creature used to live here, it attracted other creatures. Didn't you hear what Simone said? She kind of shrugs. She goes, I mean, yeah, it's kind of what I said. Not exactly, but if you want to get specific, and he immediately sidetracked before she can get specific. Because I just wanted somebody to watch the door, and he was. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I didn't want any of this to happen. I don't even know if I can, manifest things into happening, okay?
Okay. Well, I think as long as you want us to get out of here, then we can get out of here.
Well, how will we even know which way to go?
So far, it seems like you've got a good gut, and at the worst case, holds up the stone, the crystal. This seems to be leading us in the direction we want to go.
Oh, fine. Let me hold it.
Okay. I hand Tony the stone.
No sooner does the stone touch his hand than it flashes a brilliant, glowing white.
Ooh.
So bright that you can barely see, so bright it hurts. Brighter than any sunlight you've ever seen. Simone says, "What is that?" as gently as she can, as you guys experience a glimmer burst.
Okay.
The flash fills the room, and you feel the jellyfish again begin to vibrate in the container near you.
Okay.
Then, suddenly, from the crystal, a bolt of white light wisps out down the hallway back from where you came. It lingers in the air, making a soft sound like tinkling bells for a moment before beginning to fade.
Okay. Well, that seems really good. Should we follow the light? I mean, I came here so we could get Johnson and try and get out of here, but maybe at this point we should just try to take Johnson with us and not try to wait for Eric.
I mean, Eric probably made it out, right?
Yeah. What else could we do?
He's probably just getting help.
Yeah, he's getting help. We're all going to be okay, and if we can all get out of here, we'll all meet up at school, and everything will be great.
I'm going to need you to do a persuasion check.
3.
Okay. You say this, no one really believes you, but they kind of want to believe you. Zimone looks at you and goes, well, if you three want to get out here, you're welcome to. I'll help you carry your friend to the exit, I guess. After all, I'm bigger than all of you.
That would be huge, Simone.
Plus, I'm not squeamish about dead bodies. I've dissected plenty before.
Great, Simone. Thank you so much for that information.
Zimone scoops up Johnson's body from the floor, and you see Annie kind of turn away so she doesn't see how his head hangs limp.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way down the hall, and sure enough, it's like the area is just as it was when you arrived. There's the gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
There's the front window with the broken glass. Outside, you can still see the very early morning dawn rays coming in, that faint gray sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
The smell, surprisingly, you are kind of used to it by now, is getting less and less the closer that you get.
Mm-hmm.
But the closer you get, you see Tony start to hold his head more and more.
Tony, you hanging in there? We're almost out.
I don't know, it just feels wrong in my head, he says.
Why does it feel wrong?
I don't know. Annie looks back at him and goes, what is wrong with you? You look pale and red. You look really sick. And he kind of raises his head, and as he does, you see a brief flicker of blue glint in his eyes.
Yes, good old blue eye. I would like to try to use my medicine on him.
Sure, you can do that. You got a +1.
Nine.
You offer him your inhaler. What do you say?
Take this. It's dangerous to go alone.
He takes it and looks at you and goes, do you want me to use it?
Yes.
Okay. And he puffs and he goes, why does it taste like lavender and ass?
Now you know what it's like to have asthma.
He kind of nods and he goes, cool, thanks. And you continue on.
Good. Good, we did it. We did it. We did it, everybody. We used the medicine.
As you reach the front, he suddenly stops and he goes, I can't.
Why?
I can't leave.
Why?
I'm not supposed to be out there.
Tony, that's not true. You're a human, just like us. You belong out there in the real world. This isn't a place for you.
He puts a hand to his head and shakes his head. And it looks like he's understanding something he hasn't felt before. He looks up at you again and goes, no, I'm not. I don't think I ever was.
I'd like to turn on the entity tracker.
You turn on the entity tracker. It immediately begins those sudden pops and fizzles, just as you heard before.
I'd like to take 2 steps back from Tony.
That's fair. He looks at the both of you, and he goes, Tony, what the fuck are you talking about? And he goes, I think I want you to remember now. Immediately.
Roll for history.
Immediately.
Uh-huh.
Both of you realize that you don't know Tony.
Oh.
Annie has the sudden realization that she's an only child.
Oh.
She's never had a brother.
Oh. Oh.
And that the first time she's talked to Tony was about 4 years ago,
Ooh.
when she suddenly remembers him being there, like he was always there in her home, like nothing was strange.
That lines up with the 4 years ago that he began seeing the aquarium, but not the 10 years ago of the curse. Okay.
He looks at the two of you and goes, I think you were right. Trying to run away from my problems, trying to escape them, trying to be something I wasn't. I think I've been doing that for a long time. I think I kept coming back here because I knew in my heart this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be out there with you. That's where I was trying to escape my problems, not here. And it's like waking up from a dream, and you realize you've both been kind of hallucinating and dreaming and sleeping this whole time. And now, you're fully awake. And you both understand that standing before you is somebody that is not human, somebody that you do not know. Standing before you is a creature from this aquarium.
He was a jellyfish all along.
He looks at you slowly and he goes, I don't know if that's what they are. I don't know if that's what we are. All I know is that all of the wants, all of the desires of these jellyfish, of us, we manifested them. We manifested them into me. And I felt what it's like to be free again. I felt what it's like to be outside the tank, what it's like to be something other than just part of this collective. And I didn't want to go back, but I have to. I have to go back. And as you look at him, you can see his eyes changing.
Oh.
You can see him slowly transforming into a dark mass with glowing blue eyes. And you recognize that he is a demon. He slowly rises above the ground, looking at you. And you're not sure if you can feel malice in him or just the impetus of what this is what he's supposed to do. This inertia of he is here to do this. Simone has stepped back and is watching, holding your dead friend, going, that all makes sense.
Oh, man.
And he looks at you and shakes his head and he goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought you here. I'm sorry about what happened to Johnson. That's how I know it needed to stop. It needed to stop now. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm going to need you to roll for initiative.
Ooh.
All right.
16 to my 18.
Yep. He raises his hands and kind of faces them towards you, and his fingers start to tremble. And he says again, I don't know what to do. What would you like to do?
I would like to assure to him that he doesn't have to do this.
Talk to him.
Even if he isn't the person that
Talk to him.
Okay. Tony, you may be a massive evil demon, but we still know you as our friend.
Why is he evil?
Demons are typically evil.
According to some mythos, not all. But anyway, go on.
Okay. Not helping the curse of the piss tooth.
No, demons are evil. Anyway.
Listen, you may be a massive creature beyond our comprehension, but that doesn't mean that you aren't still the same person that we've spent the last 4 years getting to know, and spending time with, and enjoying. And maybe this is your home. Maybe this is your real dwelling place. But that doesn't mean that you aren't still our friend, that we won't still invite you to parties and to hang out and play games. In fact, if anything, kind of having a demon friend that we can play games with sounds kind of badass.
I don't know that I can go back out there anymore. And you can hear his voice sounds like it contains multitudes of voices now. Thousands even. Now that I know what I am, now that you know what I am, I don't think I can keep doing this. I don't think I can keep being this.
You won't know unless you try.
Right. You're going to need to roll some persuasion.
Oh. It bounced really bad, but we got a natural one. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
He
no.
looks at you and he shakes his head and he says, no. No, it's too late. I can't do this anymore. I can't be this anymore. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you trying to make me into something I'm not? And he lashes out at you. So,
Okay. Saving throw.
saving throw.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 15. He strikes you immediately in the chest, and it seems like his hand becomes massive. When it impacts you, it feels wet, like the crash of a wave, and it knocks you backwards against the glass. You feel glass stick into parts of your back, and you immediately feel yourself bleeding. You hear Annie gasp, and he turns. He goes, "Why is everyone always making noise? I just wanted it to be quiet."
I only have 1 toughness.
Yeah, this is not how this works.
Okay.
Like I said, he has hit you. You are damaged. You are rattled. You are bleeding. What do you want to do? Simone is watching this, by the way. She thinks this is fascinating. Just putting that out there.
What is approximate distance to Zimone?
Oh, Simone's behind him. It's at least 10 feet between them. Simone's chilling.
Okay.
Annie's a little closer to him, and he's kind of menacing over Annie now since he's like in the air flying. His eyes are just still glowing bright blue.
I really don't want to use the knife. I really feel like we can still talk this through.
Would you rather try another persuasion?
Yeah, I'd like to try one more persuasion.
Okay. You're going to have to stick this, so.
Okay. Tony, you've been in our lives for 4 years now. We love and respect who you are. And if this is who you really are, that's okay. We can be there for you. We can come back. We can visit. We can even help you find your way back outside if you want to go out there. But that does not mean that you have to hurt us. It does not mean that it has to end this way.
Okay. Give me a persuasion. No way!
Wow! Did that pick up? Did that pick up properly? No. Oh, yeah. It was right on the infinite token that we're using here at the end to show what the
yeah.
edges is. Yeah. Wow.
So you've rolled a nat 20. Tony turns to you, and it's like his whole body sags a little bit, and he goes, "I don't think I can leave anymore. I don't think I can continue being this existence. But I don't want to hurt you either." And he looks at you and he locks eyes with you, and you see the blue behind his eyes dim for just a second to show the eyes of this person you've just met who you thought was your friend. Mm-hmm. He said, "Maybe this is why I wanted to show you the jellyfish. Maybe I wanted someone to understand. I think you do." And he puts his hands down, and he lowers himself slowly to the ground, and he says, "I think you should go. I wanted Eric to get out, so he must be out. He must be okay. He'll be arriving with help any minute. Just don't let them in here. Don't let them make any noise. I have to go. I have to go. You understand, right?"
Yes.
And he looks at Annie, who's covering her face and her eyes are full of tears, and he goes, "For what it's worth, you were a pretty good big sister. Mom and Dad won't remember me, but will you try?" She nods. Yeah, of course, of course. He looks back at Simone. They kind of shrug at each other like they have some mutual understanding. He goes, you guys should go. You guys have to go right now. And so do I. Then it's like these tendrils of darkness protrude out of the walls. And they swirl around him until all you can see of him are the blue glow of his eyes. And he fades back into the darkness without another word and dissipates like mist as if he was never there. Lying on the ground is the glimmerstone that you had before, and you watch as it flickers twice and then goes dark.
Okay. At this point, I would like to inspect the map.
Sure. Why?
So I imagine it's gone back to normal.
Your back is against the entrance you came through.
Oh.
Remember?
Okay.
It's normal, and you're against the glass. There's sunlight streaming in. Remember that?
Yes. I
Yeah.
remember. Yes.
I'm like,
Sorry.
I am ready to cause some shit. Let's go.
Okay. I will open the door.
You have to go through the window, I guess.
I will go through the window and let the sunlight touch my face.
Blood dripping down your back, you crawl through the window trying to avoid the broken glass with your hands. You look up into the light and you see the sun has come up. It feels like you've been there for a lot of time, but at the same time, based on the time of day, you must have been in there for only about 6 hours.
Okay.
Annie crawls through after you and you help her out. You can feel her hands shaking as you do. You look up to see Simone passing you your friend's body through the glass. She goes, hey, I'm going to go make sure he and the others are okay. You know, make sure that they're settled. But stop by again. I might not be here anymore. You've really helped me out. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, mysterious Zimone stranger.
And she steps back. You're there alone with Johnson in your arms, the two of you. And you peer up to see, at the edge of the parking lot, a cop car pull in, and a man gets out. He looks at you in shock, seeing the two of you carrying this dead body across the broken glass parking lot towards him. He raises walkie-talkie to say something. You can't quite hear it. You see Eric peering out of the back at you, and he waves urgently.
So what are we going to tell them? I say to Annie.
Annie looks at you and shakes her head. She goes, I don't know, but what can we tell them? I don't think they'd believe us anyway, and Johnson's dead. And, you know, what Tony said, can't let them go make a mess or be loud. God knows what had happened. What do we do?
Is Annie and I both carrying the body at this point?
You're carrying the body over to the cop.
Is Johnson bleeding at all?
No, he's just very dead. He wouldn't be bleeding anymore either. Blood has stopped flowing 6 hours ago.
That's fair. Shit. How do we get them to not investigate the aquarium? That's what I'm sitting here wondering.
She looks at you and says, I think I have one idea. What if we tell them he fell off the aquarium roof? I mean, there's lots of broken glass there. It would make sense.
We could say that. Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
It was an accident.
Yeah, we happen to also know some jellyfish that if they wanted the cops to believe it, they would.
Yeah. Let's
two
trust that.
The two of you go up to the cop and begin to explain. As the sun begins to climb up higher and higher over the trees, you have a weird sense of peace. Like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. A dread, a suspicion that had been slowly sneaking up on you in ways that you couldn't even understand in the pit of your stomach is gone. At the same time, you feel this wistful sense of loss, as you know that, in a very real sense, you haven't just seen the death of one friend today. You've seen the death of two. And that's where we'll end our campaign.
Whew. Well,
And that is how you do a Broken Seal campaign.
wow. Well, what an interesting one.
Do you want to go through the cards we got?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll recap the pack.
And by the
quick.
way, guess how much it took me to do that?
About 3.5 hours, it looks like.
Well, we started with an hour of opening packs of cards.
That's a fair.
So
That's
2.5
very fair.
hours.
You nailed it.
Yay!
So it looks like we got some good commons and uncommons. I was trying to take a look at the rares that we got, and it looks like it was all right at the beginning. We, for whatever reason, started with all the rares after we got the first 3 initial ones. So the entity tracker, not necessarily something I could see for a lot of my stuff. Belief or doubt, where yeah, this could be quite powerful. This has to do with prime numbers, which is so fascinating to me. And then the Hall Creeper and the Grimoire are both pretty interesting. Overall, not an exciting pack, but it was a great way to make a pack that was kind of a dud, its own fun little experience.
Yeah. I mean, when I got the inspiration initially as a demon and manifest, that's where the entire crux of my story came.
Wow.
So I knew that Tony was a demon beforehand and that he was manifesting all of this into existence.
Cool.
I just had to get there. So.
Awesome. How did you feel building this, like, from a storyteller standpoint? Was there anything that was, like, a massive, like, roadblock?
I was hoping for more things to fight against, honestly. There were very few creatures here, which made it a little difficult for that. Did you feel like there was too many creatures or too few? Because you
It
really
felt
only
like-
fought 2.
Yeah, given how weak my character was, I'm taking it as a saving grace that there wasn't more, like, things to worry about. What I thought would be really fun with the Magic the Gathering kind of, like, angle on the character turned out to just not end up being really important at all.
Well,
Also-
I wasn't going to let it be.
Yeah, which was kind of fun and also a little sad. But I think this was really fun. For a fun little kind of horror one-shot, I thought this was really good. Maybe another time we'll have to try something that's more like Dungeons & Dragons proper flavored and see how that goes.
But I mean, you wanted something a little Stranger Things like.
Yeah.
So, ta-da. And
This
also,
was great.
very blue.
Very blue.
Very blue. This was so much blue. 1,
How many
2,
cards were not
3,
blue?
4, 5, 6, and then 7.
Yeah, so what is it?
So literally half the cards. Half the cards were blue.
1, 2, 3,
Because this is partially.
4, 5
This is partially blue.
cards did not have blue in their color identity of the whole pack. Wow. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And your friend Tony was a jellyfish.
Yep.
Or actually, he was the wants and desires of the jellyfish.
Made manifest.
Made manifest as a demon.
That's cool. I like how you use manifest, like, one of the big themes of the set to actually, like, use it as a proper motivation. That's really cool.
Yeah. Figured that was the way to do it since I didn't draw land initially.
No, that
So.
works great. No, I think we may need to look a little bit as, like, does it make sense for you to scan the pack first? And
No,
pull-
God no. It's more fun to do it this way. I don't want to know what's coming. I like the challenge.
That's fair.
Well, what did you guys think?
Yeah, this is definitely a new type of content for us.
Yeah.
And we deeply are going to appreciate any suggestions that you guys have. This will go up onto the YouTube as a big VOD, but we also might find some clips that we generally really liked, or like when I rolled a 1 or rolled a 20. And
When
put that,
you're persuaded, that was necessary. I was going to kill you.
yeah, and make some little shorts out of it. Other than that, though, thank you so much. We're gonna do this weekly.
We might not always do a D&D campaign. We might
Yeah.
do other Magic stuff, but we are going to stream weekly on Sundays. I'd like to say thank you to Oroneko, Lasagna, Violinity, Taito. Gosh, who else came and visited us today?
And all the people that popped in and out along
Yeah,
the way.
Cyber Drake. Just thank you so much for coming in and watching our stream. It was really nice to have you following along. We'll have some more participation stuff that you guys can do in the future, so rest assured, we're going to do that.
Absolutely.
And do you have any closing thoughts on Duskmorn before we go?
I think Duskmorn is an exceptionally flavorful set. I'm really happy with like the way that the themes are designed and stuff. I think that just the concerning is going to end up being if we try other Magic the Gathering sets, will they have the same amount of theming or exciting aspects to it that can translate well into this? For example, a core set or Foundations is coming up very soon.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
we translate that? So that might be a fun experiment.
Very much. If there's anything, other types of content you'd like to see on here, let us know and we'll make it happen. Other than that, again, this is our first stream. Sorry for any technical difficulties. I had a lot of fun.
I did too.
I've been a non-pencil,
I'm Flutterpriest.
and we will see you next time. We need a better sign-off.
We do.
What the fuck do we do for a sign-off?
Bye.
Bye!
Wow.
We'll think of it next time, I promise. Something.
Something.
Bye.